Chapter 56-29 Boom! With a bang, Long Chen's condensed divine shield shattered, and Long Zhe's full blow was completely blocked by the shield. Long Zhe was so shocked that his eyes were filled with stars, he took a few steps back. His face was full of horror, his blow containing the Jiuli talisman was actually blocked. "Little bastard, let's see if I don't beat your shit out." Long Chen was already full of anger because he couldn't comprehend the Jiuli talisman, but now that this guy came to make trouble again, Long Chen suddenly became angry. The power of the 8 stars emerged, the divine ring circulated, and burned for a moment. Long Chen stepped forward and rushed towards Long Zhe. The Keel evil moon slashed down like a bolt of lightning. Boom! Long Zhe swung his spear to block, but was cut by Long Chen and flew backwards, blood spurting wildly. Only then did Long Chen realize that this guy is so courageous. His original power has only recovered to about 60% at most, and Long Chen has recovered nearly 80%. He dared to attack Long Chen. It is simply looking for death. Die! Gritting his teeth, Long Chen walked away with the knife, heading straight for Long Zhe. Long Zhe was shocked and angry. He didn't expect Long Chen to recover faster than him. Seeing Long Chen coming, the wings of the gods flicked behind him, and a straight arrow of divine light shot out. The light arrow was not shot at Long Chen, but at Long Tianrui in the distance. Long Chen was shocked and angry when he saw this. This guy is really shameless. Long Chen didn't care about attacking Long Zhe, and rushed towards Long Tianrui in a dodge, and at the very moment he chopped off the light arrow. And after Long Chen killed the light arrow, when he thought about chasing the dragon again, this guy had already disappeared. Long Chen was so angry that he was half dead. This guy was sinister and vicious. He could even use such shameless tricks. He was an extremely difficult character. "You wait for me." Long Chen took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. He couldn't chase Long Zhe, because the 9th layer of space was distorted and boundless, and no one knew where he would hide. Time is limited, Long Chen can't waste precious time on him. Besides, Long Tianrui is not at ease if he leaves Long Tianrui here alone. If he was chasing the dragon in the wild, it would be troublesome for Long Zimo to attack Long Tianrui. The people of the Long family really don't have many good cakes. Call. In another place in the 9th formation, Long Zhe's figure suddenly flashed. At this time he was in a panic, with blood all over his body. "I don't want to say where he is, it's all for your own good, do you believe me this time?" Looking at Long Zhe's distressed appearance, Long Zimo said coldly. However, although Long Zimo's face was indifferent, there was a touch of gratitude in his mind. Before, he wanted to sneak attack Long Chen, but finally gave up. He simply stayed away, and later Long Zhe broke through the 8th barrier and saw him. Long Zhe asked if he saw Long Chen. Long Zimo was deeply scheming, so he didn't tell him yet, saying that he was not Long Chen's opponent, so don't provoke Long Zhe with self-defeating words. Under Long Zhe's rage, the Dark Knight Demon's spear pointed at Long Zimo, and if he didn't say it, he would kill him. Only then did Long Zimo tell him the location, helplessly. Seeing Long Zhe's distressed appearance now, Long Zimo was actually very surprised in his heart. He knew Long Zhe very well. This person looks like a fool on the surface, but in fact he has a deep scheming heart. Under a sneak attack, there should be a high probability of success. "Shut up," Long Zhe shouted angrily, and then ignored Long Zimo after speaking, and flew all the way to the distance, probably looking for a place to heal his injuries first, and then consider breaking through the 9th barrier. "Stupid guy." Looking at Long Zhe's leaving back, Long Zimo's mouth showed a hint of sarcasm, and then he continued to look for an opportunity to break through the 9th barrier. After Long Zhe escaped, Long Chen took a deep breath. There was a huge pressure in his heart. This Long Zhe had broken through the 8th floor and had such a terrifying improvement. If he broke through the 9th floor, what would happen? No, he has gained something and so have I. I'm not worse than him, am I? Wait, my word you. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. He was shocked by Long Zhe's use of the Jiuli symbol in the attack, and just now he was blessed with the soul, and he also used the power of the Jiuli rune, condensed into a shield, and blocked Long Zhe's blow, which was equally powerful. It's just a simple character, but it's countless times more powerful than any magical power. It's amazing. Could it be that the opening of the ninth barrier is related to this character? Long Chen suddenly had a bold idea. Long Chen sat cross-legged in front of the barrier, forming seals with his hands, endless symbols in his mind circulated, the space around him distorted, and the Jiuli talisman slowly emerged, finally forming a Yu character in front of him. As soon as it appeared, the enchantment in front of Long Chen trembled, and endless runes fell down, wrapping Long Chen heavily. At that moment, Long Chen was in a world of runes. Long Chen ignored the changes around him, and his mind was quietly immersed in the word Yu. In the past, Long Chen kept his mind inside and kept his heart. Now, Long Chen's body and mind only guards this character. No matter how the external energy changes, Long Chen will not look at it or think about it. He guarded the character quietly, feeling its fluctuations quietly. At that moment, Long Chen seemed to be guarding an egg, waiting patiently for it to hatch. Time passed slowly, and after a stick of incense, the character finally trembled slowly. At that moment, Long Chen's spirit was greatly lifted. Suddenly it trembled slightly, and then a scene that surprised Long Chen appeared. The word was divided into two and turned into two. The two characters of royal trembled again, and a third character of royal appeared between them. When the three characters appeared, the space trembled, and thousands of characters appeared, filling the entire sky in an instant. Tao begets one, one begets two, two begets three, three begets all things? Long Chen couldn't help muttering to himself as he looked at the endless characters. The first character is Yang, then the second character is Yin, but solitary Yin does not grow, and solitary Yang does not grow, only the combination of Yin and Yang can produce all things, and the third character is the energy that promotes the intersection of Yin and Yang. Before, Long Chen always thought that Yin and Yang were opposites, just like right and wrong, good and evil, but seeing its evolution, Long Chen had another understanding of Yin and Yang. Yin embraces Yang and Yang guards Yin. There is an inherent theory of embracing Yang and guarding Yin. They are mutually reinforcing and complementary. Suddenly, the endless characters gathered together and became a Yu character. The process of simplifying the complexity made Long Chen's heart beat wildly. This process contained endless mysteries. Buzz. The rune is constantly changing, and there are endless symbols circulating around it. With it as the core, it keeps changing its shape. Spells, supernatural powers, formations, talismans. Long Chen's eyeballs were about to pop out. The evolution of a character covered the rotation of 10,000 methods and 10,000 ways. The Yu character can be presented in countless ways, and its magical uses are endless. At that moment, Long Chen was completely shocked. Suddenly the picture in front of him disappeared, and everything returned to its original appearance, as if nothing had happened, and the ninth barrier still lay in front of Long Chen. However, Long Chen was very excited. He slowly opened his big hand, and a Yu character talisman slowly emerged. At this time, Long Chen can already control its power as he likes. Long Chen's big hand slowly pressed on the ninth enchantment, and suddenly the enchantment trembled violently, and Long Chen's figure disappeared instantly. Chapter 5630 The barrier trembled, and Long Chen had already appeared inside the barrier. He wanted to look back at Long Tianrui, but Long Chen found that there was chaos behind him, and he couldn't see anything. Moreover, after entering this enchantment, Long Chen felt the ancient and desolate breath rushing towards his face, and Long Chen walked forward following that breath. Tat tat tat. It was only at this time that Long Chen realized the strangeness. His feet were no longer mortal soil, but a mirror. The moment he found the mirror, the space around Long Chen changed again, and he found himself in the blue sky and white clouds. Above the head and under the feet is the blue sky, with white clouds. The blue sky is as clean as washing, and the whole world seems to have been purified. Being in it, Long Chen feels that his soul is being baptized, which makes people feel peaceful. Long Chen was stunned by the surrounding scene. At this time, he could not feel the power of space, let alone the flow of time. The power of heaven, earth, and myriad ways had all disappeared. He seemed to have come to an absolutely still space. Here, there is no life and no death. It seems to be an eternal world. Long Chen suddenly looked up and saw an ancient stone tablet floating in the void, with symbols flashing all over it. It was the Jiuli God tablet. It's just that the Jiuli God stele is only about 10 feet high at this time, and the rune, which was originally as huge as a mountain, is now as big as a tadpole. When he saw the Jiuli God tablet, Long Chen was very excited and stepped forward slowly. When Long Chen approached the Jiuli God tablet, the God tablet began to buzz, and various runes began to flash rapidly. According to Long Tianrui, when Long Chen saw the Jiuli God tablet, he entered the inner world of the Jiuli God tablet. This world is unique. Even if you break through the 9th layer of enchantment and come in, you will not be in the same world as Long Chen. So after coming here, you can study Jiuli Xianwen with peace of mind. According to what Long Tianrui said, as long as you comprehend more than a dozen of these 3,000 talismans, you will have a chance to ascend to the half-emperor. If you comprehend all of them, then you can become the Lord of the 9 heavens? Long Chen looked at the densely packed symbols on the sacred tablet. What joke are you talking about? Only a dozen or so. Who leaves the rest? I want to take them all. Buzz. When Long Chen came to the front of the Jiuli God tablet, these runes became extremely active. With his previous experience, Long Chen knew that he only needed to activate one of the runes with the power of his soul to communicate with them. Long Tianrui once told Long Chen that comprehending runes is all about fate. If repeated communication with a rune has no effect, he will give up immediately and look for the rune that is destined to him. If you die with a rune, it is very likely that you will get nothing by the time the Jiuli Divine Tablet leaves, and it will really be over. Are you kidding? Their fluctuations are the same, and their trajectories are the same. How do I know which one of them is destined for me? Long Chen was speechless for a while looking at the rapidly circulating symbols. Long Tianrui and the others have experience. They only need to focus on burning blood, and it is easy to have a connection with the runes they are destined to, but Long Chen can't. His blood is mixed. This method will definitely not work. Buzz. Looking at the talisman on the Jiuli God tablet, the talismans flowed rapidly, and various methods were also running rapidly in Long Chen's mind. Time passed bit by bit, and I don't know how long it took. Long Chen suddenly gritted his teeth. The divine ring appears. Let's fight. Boom! The divine ring emerged, the 8-star battle body opened, and endless stars appeared. Combustion! Long Chen shouted angrily. Endless flames burst out from the stars, and the fire of the stars trembled. At that moment, Long Chen's star power was raised to the extreme. To comprehend one by one, we have to wait until the year of the monkey? Whether it is a dragon or a snake, it depends on this time. As soon as Long Chen gritted his teeth, he flicked one hand away, and a colorful talisman emerged, and the blood flowed on the talisman. This is the natal talisman of Long Chen's colorful supreme blood, which contains all the power of Long Chen's colorful supreme blood. Long Chen taking a deep breath, he slowly pressed his big hand towards the Jiuli God stele. Boom! The moment the talisman touched the Jiuli Divine Tablet, all the runes on the Jiuli Divine Tablet trembled violently, and a violent force slammed into Long Chen fiercely. Puff! Unprecedented power swept in. Long Chen's body shook violently, his clothes exploded, his entire body was ripped apart, and blood mist rose. The whole body exploded. So close, Long Chen was in severe pain all over his body, and his 5 internal organs were directly shattered, but all of this was within his expectations. He barely endured the first wave of shock, even if he took the first step of success. In Long Chen's hand, the rune that was about to collapse suddenly trembled, a vortex of stars appeared, and a Jiuli talisman was slowly sucked into the vortex. Even with Long Chen's endurance, he still let out a scream, and in his soul space, a Jiuli talisman appeared in Long Chen's sea of consciousness. The sea of consciousness is churning, and the soul is burning. Although this kind of internal burning will not consume the origin of Long Chen, the pain is not something that people can bear. At that moment, the skin on Long Chen's face had disappeared, the outline had been distorted in pain, and the eyeballs were about to burst from their sockets. At that moment, Long Chen was so painful that he almost gave up. The Jiuli talisman burned his soul, which was 1,000,000 times more terrifying than any torture, and the pain would make people's will collapse. Ah! Long Chen roared wildly in this way, to disperse the pain, and at the same time the power of the soul was running, leading the talisman to the divine gate deep in the sea of consciousness. When the talisman disappeared instantly after entering the divine gate, and reappeared, it was already in Long Chen's Dantian star sea. It's a matter of success or failure. Gritting his teeth, Long Chen yelled, and directly triggered the talisman to attach to a star in the sea of stars. The talisman fell on the star, and the star trembled suddenly, endless debris flew, and finally exploded with a bang. It's over, it's a failure. A star can't bear the power of a talisman, then it means that this road won't work. It might be possible to replace it with Fengfu, Yuheng and other stars, but in case of failure, as long as one star collapses, Long Chen will be lost forever. Even if Long Chen is daring, he dare not use them to gamble. Wrong. Just when Long Chen was about to give up, Long Chen suddenly exclaimed. After the star exploded, a golden spot of light appeared among the endless debris. This is the core of the stars. The core of the stars has not exploded. At this moment, Long Chen was ecstatic. Not only did the core of the star not explode, but at this time, a talisman was inlaid on it, and this talisman had been deeply imprinted on its body. Successful, Long Chen shouted excitedly, which proved that his bold idea was feasible. Excited, Long Chen directly sucked the second Jiuli talisman into his soul space, then the third and the fourth. Chapter 5631, Boom Boom Boom. The stars exploded one after another, and only the core part of the exploded stars remained. After merging with the talisman, a brand new star was formed. Only the core part of the stars remained, less than 1/10,000th of the original volume, but when they were fused with the runes, their aura instantly became deep and lengthy. The talisman seemed to have found a suitable soil for their survival and merged into the core of the star, and this star was also endowed with different life fluctuations. It's just that the fused star core exhausted all its power and fell into a deep sleep with the talisman. Looking at a star that was reborn like a phoenix, Long Chen was full of surprises. Although he was still suffering from purgatory torture, everything was worth it. 7. 8. When Long Chen inhaled more than 30 runes in his body, Long Chen suddenly felt dizzy, and his soul power showed signs of weakening. However, at this moment, Long Chen was shocked to find that the talismans that had been integrated into the sea of stars in his body showed signs of awakening. The most frightening thing was that they seemed to want to break away from the sea of stars and return to the steel. This discovery made Long Chen's heart sink to the bottom, and he suddenly thought of a possibility. That is the 3,000 runes which need to be transferred in one go. They seem to be a complete body. If they can't be removed in one go, these runes will still return to the stone tablet. Long Chen only moved 30 runes, and the power of the soul is showing signs of being exhausted. If this continues, Long Chen will fail completely. However, now that Long Chen has lost contact with Kain Kunding, Dragon Bone Xie and even Chaos Space, it is impossible to seek help. For a moment, Long Chen was in a turmoil, and his previous efforts were about to be wasted. Long Chen suddenly looked at the Jiuli God tablet, and when he gritted his teeth, a vortex swirled on his big hand, and a colorful blood talisman emerged. On Long Chen's big hand, bloody chains spread rapidly like vines. To Long Chen's surprise, the Jiuli Divine Tablet did not reject him, nor did he fight back, allowing him to bind the Jiuli Divine Tablet. Seeing that the first step was successful, Long Chen took a deep breath, slowly closed his eyes, and communicated with the Jiuli God Monument wholeheartedly. He wanted to integrate himself with the Jiuli God Monument. Only by doing this can the Jiuli Divine Tablet not repel him so much. If the Jiuli Divine Tablet does not reject him, then the Jiuli Divine Talisman that enters his body will not leave his body in a hurry, so he will have respite. Rao Long Chen is unparalleled in his strategy, so he can only think of this method at this time. If this method fails, he can only give up. Buzz. When Long Chen tried to integrate with the Jiuli Divine Tablet, the Jiuli Divine Tablet trembled slightly, and the divine light surged along Long Chen's palm to his arm, slowly wrapping Long Chen. At that moment, Long Chen's body trembled slightly, and the world around Long Chen instantly became transparent. Long Chen saw Long Tianrui, Long Zimo, Long Zai, Jiang Yue, Feng Fei, and other than them, there were several figures, but Long Chen didn't recognize them. They sat cross-legged next to the Jiuli Divine Tablet and were communicating with the Jiuli Divine Tablet. What shocked Long Chen was that they were by his side, but he couldn't see them before. Suddenly, Long Chen understood that no matter who is in front of the Jiuli God Tablet, he will enter the space of the Jiuli God Tablet. However, everyone's space is independent, so no one can see anyone else. That is to say, when passing through the 9th layer of enchantment, everyone is no longer in the same space, but Long Chen is integrated with the Jiuli God Tablet at this time, and can look at the world from its perspective. Long Chen looked into the distance, and he saw dense figures outside the 9th layer of enchantment, and tens of thousands of people had already arrived there. Outside the 8th floor, there are millions of strong people, and there are even more people outside the 7th floor, which cannot be counted. What surprised Long Chen was that outside the 7th floor, Long Chen saw a team, which was the strong man from the Northern Alliance that he had rescued before. The difference from the others is that they don't have the blood of the Protoss, and they even rushed here. You must know that more than 90% of the strong people on this level are from the Protoss. The powerhouses of the Northern Alliance basically all came in. What shocked Long Chen the most was that there was a strange brilliance shrouded above their heads. Are they also related to the Protoss? Long Chen was taken aback for a moment, but this idea was quickly rejected. Su Yu said that the Quartet Alliance is not a sect, let alone a race. In order to survive in the harsh world of Tianyuan, they had to hug each other to keep warm. Even if some people are related to the Protoss, it is impossible for so many people to be related to the Protoss, and the divine splendor on their heads is so weird that even Long Chen can't see the clue. After Long Chen merged with the Jiuli Divine Tablet, he could even feel that the Jiuli Divine Tablet seemed to have a unique affinity for them. At this moment, the sea of stars in Long Chen's dantian trembled slightly, and Long Chen was pleasantly surprised to find that just as he was looking out, a Jiuli talisman entered the sea of stars by itself and merged with a star. Long Chen opened his mouth wide. He merged with the Jiuli god Steel, but he wanted to gain a chance to breathe. He didn't dare to use the vortex to absorb the runes. He just wanted to thank the gods for the runes in his body not to be sucked away. However, what he didn't expect was that after merging with the Jiuli Divine Tablet, these runes also discovered Long Chen's soul channel, and felt the sea of stars, and seemed to have a curiosity, and they automatically entered along the channel, entered Qinghai, and automatically searched for a location to settle down. Seeing this scene, Long Chen almost burst into tears. If he knew it was so simple, why should he endure the torture of soul cannon? Buzz. One after another, Jiuli runes are like curious fish, slowly swimming into the soul passage, back and forth in the soul passage. Some runes passed through the gate of God, entered the sea of stars, and after swimming in the sea of stars for a while, and finally chose a star that he liked for fusion. Long Chen was ecstatic. Now he didn't have to do anything, just wait for them to move by themselves, and as more and more runes entered the star sea, other runes also began to become active. Suddenly a violent fluctuation came, and Long Chen hurriedly looked to the side, only to see a rune flickering rapidly between Long Zai's eyebrows, and then the rune disappeared. On the wings of Long Zai's back, each had a pair of runes text lights up. And when the pair of runes lit up, Long Chen couldn't help his heart beating wildly. He was shocked to find that more than a dozen runes had been imprinted on the wings of Long Zai's back. Damn, what's the situation? How did this guy comprehend so fast? Long Chen was furious when he saw this scene. He thought he was the only one who could cheat, but he didn't expect there to be another one. Long Chen wanted to rush over and give him a slap, but the two were not in the same space, and Long Chen couldn't reach him at all. Buzz. At this moment, the sea of stars in Long Chen's dantian kept trembling, and the stars exploded. He found that the number of Jiuli runes in his body had reached more than 600. And with more and more runes in the body, It actually formed a reverse traction. The runes on the Juli God tablet became more and more active, even a little irritable, and they rushed into the star C from the Soul Channel. Boom, an hour later, a star exploded in Longchen's star C, and its core fused with a Juli rune. Longchen's star C trembled suddenly. This was the last rune on the Juli God tablet. At this moment, 3,000 stars lit up, and there was a strange force between them to attract each other, and the graphics kept changing, mysterious and endless, as if the cosmic avenue was evolving. However, when Longchen was about to take a good look, the divine brilliance around them gradually dimmed, and the 3,000 runes fell into a deep sleep at the same time. Is this the end? Longchen was stunned for a moment. Chapter 5632, You are really strong and courageous. You dare to use this whimsical method to imprint all the talismans. Aren't you afraid that it will explode your Xinghai? Suddenly, the voice of Qiankunding when it came, its voice was full of exclamation and fear at the same time. Obviously, it knows the power of these talismans better than anyone else. Longchen is simply messing around. If there is an accident, Longchen will be completely useless. If it could communicate with Longchen at that time, it would never let Longchen do such a stupid thing. Now that Longchen has finished, it still sweats for Longchen, which is too dangerous. Looking at Longchen Xinghai, after 3,000 exploded, only the core part of the stars remained. Qiankuan Cauldron smiled wryly. Although it had no flesh and blood, it still felt a little nervous. Senior, what happened just now? Why can't I sense you? Longchen couldn't help being overjoyed when he heard the voice of Qiankunding. The runes on the Juli God tablet conflict with the runes on me, because I am still in the recovery period. If I fight against it, it will consume my original power on the one hand, and on the other hand, it will not be conducive to your perception. It's just that I didn't expect that you didn't feel them at all, but branded them all. Qiankunding said with a wry smile. Hey, if you want to comprehend, there is plenty of time. Rubbing it down, whenever you want to comprehend it, you can comprehend it at any time. Longchen said with a smile. Your appetite is really big and people are really greedy, but in this way, the power that belongs to you is exhausted by you in this way, and you can't use the power of the Juli God tablet to comprehend them, which is also regarded as there are advantages and disadvantages. Qiankunding said. Don't be afraid, even if I don't have its power to bless, but I have the 7 treasure glaze tree, so I don't have to worry about no firewood if I keep the green hills. If you comprehend dozens of runes here and miss so many runes, you will be at a loss. Regarding this point, Longchen has nothing to worry about. The 7 treasure glaze tile tree can bless wisdom and make it easier for people to realize it. Longchen has great confidence in this treasure tree with a mysterious origin. The space where Longchen was located trembled slightly, and flames rose from the runes on the Juli God tablet. When the flames were rising, Longchen couldn't help but feel a pang of regret. Burning runes is the best time to realize it. Unfortunately, all his runes are sleeping and cannot be confirmed. It's better to give them this opportunity. Longchen's heart suddenly moved, and he pressed his big hand on the Juli Divine Tablet. The divine light around the Juli Divine Tablet slowly gathered into a bunch under Longchen's control. Outside the 7th floor, tens of millions of strong men from the Northern Alliance, their souls communicate with the enchantment, feeling the fusion of souls and runes. The runes here are the basic symbols of the divine talisman. Although they are only basic symbols, they still contain the truth of heaven and earth. Being able to understand them will be of great help in the future. The powerhouses of the Northern Alliance are comprehending the symbols here with all their hearts and souls. They know that this is a once-in-lifetime opportunity for them, so they cherish it very much. It is already a great opportunity for them to come here. You must know that this place is almost the exclusive place of the Protoss, and they must comprehend more talismans within a limited time. Then they had to leave immediately before the Juli Divine Steel disappeared. They were worried that they would be embarrassed by the strong of the Protoss. After all, this is the rune of the Protoss. They would get a share of the pie, which would easily arouse jealousy. Just when they were uneasy and feeling the power of the talisman, suddenly a divine light shot out from the depths of the barrier, covering all the strong men of the Northern Alliance. Everyone was startled. When the divine light came into their eyes, they lost their vision for an instant, and then they saw countless burning runes pouring towards them. A complete rune. People almost screamed out. What they understood before was just small symbols, not real characters at all. Seeing the complete characters at this time, they felt like they were in a dream. When the talisman burned, the fire of their souls was instantly ignited. Suddenly, everyone let out a shrill scream. When the rune passed by, they first saw the chaotic rune. However, in the chaotic rune, they felt the call, and when they concentrated on looking at the rune, immediately their souls trembled, and the rune was like a branding iron deeply imprinted in their souls. Soul branding is painful. Although most of their power has been exhausted, the burning power still makes countless people clutch their heads and howl in pain. A group of idiots. This is the consequence of overreaching. What is exclusive to the Protoss is also something that you ants can comprehend. Looking at the situation on the side of the Northern Alliance, the strong Protoss around them were startled, and there was a hint of sarcasm and disdain on the corners of their mouths. Before, when they saw the powerful members of the Northern Alliance coming here, they couldn't help feeling a little angry and jealous at the same time. However, the Northern Alliance had a large number of people, and they wanted to enter the next level earlier, so they didn't do anything to them. Now seeing them all falling to the ground and howling, I thought they were being backlashed by the talisman, so I couldn't help but gloat. That divine light can only be seen by the powerhouses of the Northern Alliance, and outsiders have no idea what happened on their side. However, that divine light was fleeting, and when the divine light disappeared, the faces of the powerful members of the Northern Alliance were all as pale as paper, and the power of their souls was almost burned out. However, their faces were full of disbelief, because after the torrent of talismans passed, many people had a complete talisman printed on their minds. "That's..." a strong man from the Northern Alliance exclaimed. "Shut up," the leader shouted angrily, and stopped him from continuing, because he also saw that after the endless torrent of runes passed, he saw a sacred monument and a figure beside the sacred monument. Although the figure was a little blurry, he had already recognized it. Who is that? The inheritance of the Protoss is not something we can get our hands on. Let's go. The leader sighed, waved his hand, and left in disgrace under the mocking eyes of the Protoss powerhouses. However, the powerhouses of the Protoss didn't notice that although this group of people were extremely embarrassed, their eyes were full of excitement and ecstasy. Long Chen watched the strong men of the Northern Alliance leave, and a smile appeared on his face. These guys are smart. At this time, the Geoli God's tablet beside Long Chen gradually became dim, and Long Chen suddenly picked up the Geoli God's tablet that was about to collapse, and ruthlessly slammed into Long Zai's position. Boom! With a bang, Long Chen's Geoli God tablet exploded, and the moment the Geoli God tablet exploded, a big hole was knocked out of the space. Long Chen couldn't help being ecstatic when he saw the big hole appear, and he dived into it. When Long Chen passed half of his body through the space, Long Zai's astonished face appeared in front of his eyes. "You smelly and shameless, what are you looking at?" Snapped. Almost reflexively, Long Chen slapped Long Zai hard across the face. Chapter 5633 Long Zai was communicating with the Geoli God Steel. A Geoli rune was slowly imprinted on his wings, and his wings showed a mirror effect. One became two. A satisfied smile appeared on Long Zai's face. Compared with the powerhouses of the other four major god races, he has a unique advantage in comprehending the Geoli talisman. This advantage is the wings on his back. This pair of wings came from outside the sky and was obtained by the ancestors of the Long family in the era of chaos. However, it may be that the wings have self-awareness, and no one has been able to subdue it for countless years. Knowing that the era of the dragon is in the wild, this wing has taken the initiative to recognize the master and has become the strongest means of the dragon in the wild. This pair of wings possesses endless power. So far, Long Zai still doesn't know how strong this pair of wings is. Although Yui recognizes him as the master, Long Zhe can only use a small part of its power. He doesn't know if the power he can use is 1%, 1/10,000th, or less. However, one thing he knows is that the day he wakes up the wings of the gods is the day when he ascends to the peak of the 9 heavens. Now, with the power of divine blood, he peeled off runes one by one from the Jiuli divine steel, and passed them to the wings of the gods, allowing the wings to fuse them. He has already fused the 56th rune. At this time, he is full of ambition. The ancestor of the Long family has comprehended more than a dozen runes, and finally reached the realm of the half-emperor, and he has already fused 56 runes. Definitely go beyond them. For him, he doesn't pay much attention to the arrogance of the 4 major god clans, even Jiang Yue, who awakened the mark of the god of war in the era of chaos. The mark of the god of war is a unique seal of heaven in the era of chaos. Those who possess such a mark will be favored by destiny and eventually achieve supreme fame. But now that times have changed, I don't know if this mark of the god of war can still be recognized by the heavenly Tao. Even if it is recognized by the heavenly Tao, so what? Even if she tried her best to comprehend, how many runes could she comprehend? Long Zhe never believed that anyone could be faster than him. Click! Just when Long Zhe was about to peel off the next rune, there was a bang, and the space exploded like a mirror, and then a face that he hated so much was almost stuck to his face. When he saw Long Chen's big face that needed a beating, Long Zhe was shocked and angry, but before he could react, Long Chen slapped him on the face. Boom! With a loud bang, Long Zhe was slapped by Long Chen and flew far away. However, Long Chen's slap did not hurt Long Zhe at all. Instead, it caused pain like needle pricks in Long Chen's palm. Long Chen was shocked in his heart. He found that the moment his big hand touched Long Zhe's face, Long Zhe hadn't reacted yet, but a rune lit up on the wings of God behind him, and a ghost appeared on his body. A radiance. Long Chen's slap was blocked by Long Zhe's wing Shenhui. Although he was sent flying, it failed to cause substantial damage to him. What a strong wing! Long Chen's heart beat wildly. With this team of wings, it is very difficult to kill the dragon in the wild. At this time, Long Chen felt a little remorse. He should have killed this guy in one go just now. This guy is getting more and more terrifying. Don't regret it, it's useless if you forcefully kill him, let alone whether you can succeed. Even if you succeed, you will be severely injured, and you will not have the strength to attack the barrier. The Jiuli divine steel doesn't reject you very much. Do you think it's because of your strength? That's because you are the first to enter its inner world. The repulsion force of the second person who enters will be twice as strong as yours, and it will continue to double after that. The further back, the more difficult it will be. Qianquan Ding reminded. Long Chen suddenly realized that the reason why his feelings were so easy to integrate with the Jiuli divine tablet was because he was the first to come in. Long Chen sent Long Zhe flying with a slap, and was about to take advantage of the victory to pursue him when suddenly the space behind him twisted, and a strong suction pulled him outward, trying to strip him from Long Zhe's space. It turned out that Long Chen used the last power of his Jiuli space to break the law of space and came to Long Zhe's space. The owner of this space is Long Zhe, and Long Chen, an outsider, will be expelled due to the influence of the space power of the Jiuli divine tablet. Long Chen wanted to struggle, but he couldn't fight against the power of the Jiuli God's tablet. Fortunately, he had already merged with the Jiuli's God's tablet. The space here was only to expel him, not kill him. Although the power was strong, it was not violent. Crack! The space behind Long Chen creaked. Seeing that he was about to be expelled, Long Chen was heartbroken. We are here, why can't we leave empty-handed? Call. Long Chen opened his big hand, and the colorful blood chain was like a spider web, covering the sacred tablet. Damn idiot, what are you doing? Long Zhe received a slap, just stood up, and saw the scene in front of him. He roared, and smashed Long Chen's bloody chains with the knight spear in his hand. He had already seen that something was wrong. Call. Long Chen pulled hard, and the net of chains was retracted from the sacred tablet. There was a strange clicking sound, and the colorful chains were retracted before Long Zhe's blow came. There were hundreds of Jiuli talismans on the net-shaped chains. Seeing this scene, Long Zai roared and killed Long Chen. Why are you so anxious? With your speed, you can't absorb a few runes at all. Don't take shit and occupy the latrine. Long Chen retracted the chain, and did not forget to mock Long Zai. Go to Nima. Long Zai yelled, and the Dark Knight's spear slammed at Long Chen, but with a bang his spear hit the space barrier, and Long Chen had disappeared. A loud bang not only did not hit Long Chen, but was shocked by the power of the space barrier to spurt blood. What frightened him the most was that after he struck, the whole space trembled, and then he found that the runes on the Jiuli God tablet started to burn, and the disappearance of the Jiuli God tablet had entered the countdown. Long Chen, you bastard, I don't share the sky with you. Long Zai roared like a wild beast, and Long Chen came to make trouble, not only took away more than 100 talismans, but also consumed a huge amount of power from the Jiuli Divine Tablet, leaving him running out of time. Boom! In the space where Long Chen was, the Jiuli Divine Monument had disappeared, and the space began to distort and collapse. He had to leave immediately. Long Chen held the colorful blood net with both hands, and with both arms, the silk net was torn into 2 pieces. Boom, boom, Long Chen threw the 2 silk screens in his hands in 2 different directions at the same time. With 2 bangs, the void was pierced by the screens and flew to 2 spaces respectively. After Long Chen finished all this, a powerful force struck and bounced Long Chen out. When the space around Long Chen gradually became clear, he had already appeared outside the first barrier. Chapter 5634. Long Tianrui was contemplating the divine steel with peace of mind, when a strange vibration suddenly made her open her eyes. This is an independent space, so the sounds from the outside world will not be heard here, right? And the vibration kept going, and at the same time, she seemed to hear a roar. At that moment, she was stunned, thinking that she had an auditory hallucination, because the roar sounded so much like a dragon in the wild. Boom! Suddenly the void exploded, colorful divine brilliance flickered, and Jiuli talismans appeared in front of her. At that moment, Long Tianrui was stunned. The violent will on these talismans has been erased, and it can be absorbed directly without comprehension. Long Tianrui didn't have time to think about it, and quickly formed seals with both hands, and led these dozens of runes into his soul. 7-colored blood is Long Chen. When Long Tianrui absorbed the talisman, Long Chen's face appeared in her mind, and she even saw a wicked smile on that face. There were 2 people in a space of the Jiuli Divine Steel, Jiang Yue and Feng Fei. Jiang Yue spent a lot of energy to pull Feng Fei into her own space, and she paid a huge price for this. But she doesn't regret it. Feng Fei is her best sister and the person she trusts the most. Feng Fei's strength is also her strength. But at this time, the 2 of them looked at the talisman wrapped in the 7-colored radiance, their eyes widened, and they covered their cherry lips with expressions of disbelief. This guy, how did he do it? Jiang Yue was dumbfounded. I just heard Long Zai swearing at the street. It seems that he is taking other people's things as gifts again. Feng Fei covered her mouth and smiled. Again? This guy often does this, sister. Hurry up and absorb all these ownerless runes. Feng Fei shouted. 1/2 of us. Jiang Yue said. My aptitude is limited, and it would be a waste to absorb it. Sister, don't refuse. Between us, do you need to be polite? Hurry up, before the power of Long Chen's blood dissipates. Feng Fei said urgently. Jiang Yue didn't refuse any more, and made seals with both hands, absorbing all the dozens of runes. When all the runes were fused with her, Jiang Yu's heart was still beating wildly, as if she was in a dream. After such a long time, she has fused a total of 37 runes, and she thinks she is strong enough. The number of runes that Long Chen sent in was actually 62, almost twice as many as hers. What excited her most was that these runes did not overlap with the runes that she fused with. In this way, she has already fused 99 Jiuli talismans, which is unimaginable, and makes her feel that all this seems not so real, for fear that she is dreaming, and if she is not careful, the dream will come to an end. Woke up. Sister, am I dreaming? Jiang Yue looked at Feng Fei with a trembling voice. Dreams are also sweet dreams, but for Long Zhe, it might be a nightmare. Feng Fei pursed her lips and smiled. What kind of existence is this Long Qin? Jiang Yue felt the power of the runes in her body, and couldn't help muttering to herself. Long Qin seemed to be too kind to them. Every talisman is a priceless treasure. How could he give us such a treasure? Jiang Yue was puzzled. Long Qin doesn't like to owe favors, so it can be regarded as repaying our favors. As I said, Long Qin's favors are priceless treasures. Feng Fei said, but he didn't use it himself, so he gave it to us. How can there be such a fool? Jiang Yue said, Long Qin is not a fool. If he can give it to us, it means. Feng Fei's eyes were full of horror when she said this, because she thought of a possibility. This is impossible. Jiang Yue also widened her eyes. She knew what Feng Fei was thinking. Feng Fei took a deep breath, calmed herself down and said, Sister, don't think so much. We still have time, and if we can comprehend one more rune, our strength will increase. Don't get entangled in such meaningless things. Let's continue to comprehend quickly, and strive to comprehend a few more runes before the Jili divine steel leaves and disappears. Jiang Yue nodded, and the two continued to close their eyes to contemplate. However, Long Qin's handwriting completely shocked this supercilious and aloof female god of war. Senior, how about following me into the space of the Jili divine monument and killing Long Zhe? Long Qin said to Qiankuan Cauldron. It's useless. The Jili divine tablet can open up to 10 spaces at a time. The space of the Jili divine tablet has been closed. You can rush to the 9th barrier at most before you can enter. If you force it in, you can get in, but it consumes too much, and it doesn't make any sense. Qiankuan Ding said. Long Qin, don't listen to him. What can you do if you don't try? Lao Ding doesn't want to make a move, so let me do it. I don't believe that he can't break the bird barrier. Kiel Shiyue was eager to try. It's just a little dragon in the wild. Are you afraid that he will grow up and you won't be able to beat him? Qiankuan Ding said angrily. Am I afraid of him? What kind of fart are you farting? Who am I afraid of, Xieyu? Qiankuan Ding's words made Dragon Gu Xie jump. Naturally, Long Qin could hear Qiankuan Ding's provocative method, but what Qiankuan Ding said was right. Could it be that Long Qin was really afraid of Long Zhe? So what if he is strong? Lao Tzu is also getting stronger. Is it possible that I, Long Qin, are still afraid of being surpassed by others? Thinking of this, Long Qin was relieved. Okay, let's not kill him today. Let him grow up to his heart's content, and then Lao Ding, you will watch me with 2 big eyes and see how we chop him into meat paste. Long Guxie, the anger of the moon is really not small. The Qiankuan tripod just used a small trick, and it was fooled. Yes, let him grow up. Next time, I will tie up one arm and abuse him as usual. Long Qin said in the tone of Kiel Shiyue. What's the matter with tying one arm? You just tie up your hands and feet. Long Guxie said. Then how to fight? Long Qin was taken aback. Take off your trousers, make that slap hard, and why don't you pick him up all the way? Long Guxie shouted angrily. Stop, stop, stop. Long Qin was speechless for a while. When did Dragon Bone Shiyue become so filthy? He would go to hell when he was talking, and he dared to say anything. Although you have obtained all the runes, you have swallowed them whole, and there is no improvement or help for you at present. The most important thing for you now is to find a way to awaken the power of those runes to cooperate, to awaken the power of the first rune you comprehended. The first talisman you comprehend is actually the key to unlocking the Jili Divine Monument. In fact, your comprehension of it is just superficial. Although it can barely use its power, it is still far away from its full form. But Long Zhe is different. Their blood is pure, unlike you who have the interference of purple blood and dragon blood. With the help of the God Tablet, the speed and depth of comprehension are not comparable to yours. After they leave the customs, they will be another person. If you don't seize the time to improve, you will definitely suffer a big loss when you meet Long Zhe again. Qiankuan Ding reminded. Long Qin nodded, glanced at the towering Jili God monument, and was about to leave, but at this moment, the voice of the Dragon Clan powerhouse came. You don't have time to comprehend it. The Emperor's Dao Nilin has already been born, and the powerhouses from all walks of life have rushed away. Next, the bloody slaughter will begin. Chapter 5635, Imperial Dao Nilin has been born? Long Chen was startled and just about to ask. Suddenly the whole world shook. Immediately afterwards, the ground trembled, and an ancient and desolate atmosphere rose from a distant place. Even though there is an endless distance, one can still feel the supreme divine power in that aura. The aura is sacred and majestic, touching people's minds and making people's souls tremble. A few breaths of time, a ripple spread, covering the sky and covering the earth. When the ripple covered Long Chen's body, Long Chen's dragon blood was instantly ignited, and the dragon blood war body could not help blessing on the body. Buzz! On Long Chen's body, the dragon scales trembled, and the divine brilliance kept flickering. At that moment, Long Chen felt a fierce killing intent. Senior, this is... Long Chen was taken aback. The Emperor Dao Nilin was born. What happened to this killing intent? Could it be that Emperor Dao Nilin wants to kill him? Imperial Dao Nilin has broken away from the control of will, and according to your human race's understanding, you have an independent personality. The reason why you feel the killing intent is because you share the same blood with it, and the same blood is its past. If you want to have a free soul and will, you need to cut off everything in the past, which is the origin of the killing intent, said the strong dragon clan. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly, which meant that when Long Chen met Emperor Dao Nilin, it would be a life-and-death bloody battle, right? Boom! Just as he was speaking, the void suddenly exploded, and a divine bird shattered the void, bringing the sky full of wind and galloping past Long Chen's head. Divine light circulated all over the divine bird, and among the 9 dragon energy of the sky, for had strange fluctuations. Obviously, it was also a super terrifying existence. It flew over Long Chen's head, but it didn't even look at Long Chen, and it didn't even pay attention to the Jiuli God tablet not far away. The huge figure disappeared in a flash, and the speed was extremely fast. And its direction is exactly where the fluctuation of the Emperor's Dao Nilin lies. Obviously, it is going towards the Emperor's Dao Nilin. Long Chen glanced at the Jiuli God tablet. At this time, the divine light on the Jiuli God tablet began to dim, and it had a tendency to hide underground. It would not take long for it to disappear. Thunder wings emerged from Long Chen's back, and the person turned into a streamer, galloping in that direction. Long Chen ran for a stick of incense, and suddenly the void roared and exploded, and a stream of light flew from behind. When he saw Long Chen, he did not dodge and hit him directly. It was a 9-veined heavenly saint-level devil bird, with 9 celestial veins burning dragon energy all over its body. The magic energy was astonishing. Its wings spread open the sky and the earth, and the mountain peaks exploded as it passed. The demon bird was extremely fast, and it caught up with Long Chen in an instant. It opened its mouth wide, spit out a wind blade of thousands of miles, and went straight to Long Chen to chop it down. Boom! Facing the wind blade, Long Chen did not dodge. The starlight flowed on his fist, and when he punched it down, the wind blade was shattered by Long Chen's punch. The demon bird was shocked. It didn't expect that a single human race would have such terrifying strength. It was mistaken. The wind blade exploded, and the sharp claws tore through the sky, grabbing at Long Chen. This devil bird has a huge body, but it is not bulky at all. It changes moves very quickly and is extremely flexible. The sharp claws pierced the air, and the void was torn apart. The position where Long Chen was located was grabbed a big hole by the sharp claws, and Long Chen's figure had disappeared. Stupid Terran, the devil bird snorted coldly, thinking that Long Chen couldn't dodge in time, and was killed with one blow, leaving no bones left. However, just as it sneered, the top of its head sank, followed by a stabbing pain in its soul, and a cold voice came. If you don't want to die, just be obedient, and if you want to die, just say a word, and I can fulfill you right now. The devil bird was shocked to find that its soul had been locked by the other party, as if an invisible big hand had grabbed its soul, and as long as the other party had a thought, it could make it fly away. The devil bird trembled all over, it was startled and angry, but its life was already in Long Chen's hands, it dared not resist. "Take me to the destination and give you back your freedom," Long Chen said. "The human race is full of tricks, can you believe what you say?" the devil bird said angrily. "Do you have a choice?" Long Chen said coldly. The devil bird was silent, and finally had to succumb under Long Chen's coercion, and flew forward with Long Chen on its back. Long Chen didn't go all out to hurry before, but was just waiting for an opportunity to find a strong person to travel. In this way, he can use the time on the road to comprehend the Jili talisman, and after the battle with Long Zai, Long Chen felt tremendous pressure. Long Zai has comprehended so many Jili talismans, and his strength has risen rapidly, but he is still standing still, which is very dangerous. Long Chen sat cross-legged on the demon bird's back, forming seals with his hands, and the Yu character amulet emerged. At the same time, the 3,000 stars in Long Chen's dantian trembled slightly, and the dim stars emitted a faint light. These stars are still in the sleeping stage, and it is very difficult to barely light up, which is also their limit. Long Chen calmed down and immersed himself in the word Yu in front of him. This was the first original Jili Xianwen that Long Chen had comprehended. It consists of 36 symbols, and these 36 symbols can interact with each other. It looks like a word, but it looks like a painting when you look closely. As the runes flow, the power of the formation is faintly visible. With the flow of their energy, various changes are constantly evolving, from simple to complex. Long Chen tried to move the position of one symbol to watch the changes in the power of the entire rune, followed by 2, 3, 4. Long Chen discovered that this talisman could move the whole body, and the power flowed and changed endlessly. It's just a simple talisman with the word, which has the flavor of defense and dominance. When resisting, a shield is formed, sealing the sky and the earth. At the time of dominance, the 36 symbols are like the 36 strong men. Under the guidance of Long Chen's will, the formation changes, and they can attack or defend, and can advance or retreat. At that moment, Long Chen was immersed in its endless changes. He seemed to see a corner of the world. Through this corner, he could peep into the mysteries of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Buzz! The talisman in front of Long Chen keeps changing its shape, and the energy between the heaven and the earth is affected by it, and it keeps vibrating, as if a single character can command the universe, and the world obeys. At that moment, Long Chen forgot both things and me, completely immersed in that wonderful change, and even forgot his own purpose, and it is this unrestrained state that is the best way to understand the talisman. When the talisman changed to a state, suddenly the sea of stars in Long Chen's dantian trembled slightly, and Long Chen instantly caught this fluctuation. Suddenly, Long Chen opened his eyes and formed seals with his hands. The Yu character talisman in front of him kept this strange shape and did not change. At this moment, Long Chen's star sea trembled again, and the 3,000 stars seemed to be pulled by some kind of force. Long Chen's heart moved, his mind moved, and he introduced the Yu character talisman into the sea of stars. When it entered the sea of stars, the 3,000 stars trembled slightly and slowly surrounded it, and the 3,000 talismans slowly circulated, forming a shield shape, enclosing the character, in the middle. Could this be its ultimate form? Long Chen was shocked. Careful! At this moment, the exclamation of the devil bird came, and Long Chen opened his eyes, only to see a giant claw covered with scales, grabbing at Long Chen and the devil bird. Chapter 5636. The monster bird was huge, like a mountain, but the dragon claws were even bigger than its body. What frightened the devil bird the most was that it ran all the way. Its speed was extremely fast, but it was still being overtaken silently. When it hit, the dragon's power was stirred up, making its soul tremble. This blow was enough to kill it. Boom! Just as the huge dragon claw was about to fall, a huge shield rose up, covering the devil bird, and there was a bang, and the dragon claw caught on the shield, sending out a piercing sonic boom. The shield trembled continuously, but it didn't shatter, but opened the dragon's claws. Seeing this, the demon bird flashed its wings and flew away. Boom! At this time, the void exploded, and a sky-covering figure emerged. Because it was too big, Long Chen could only vaguely see a black dragon with wings on its back, a pair of cold eyes, like two suns looking at it coldly. With him, the devil bird was extremely fast. It threw off the huge figure in an instant, and disappeared in an instant. I can't think of a talisman that can mobilize such a terrifying power of heaven and earth. Long Chen was secretly shocked. At that time, he was comprehending the divine talisman of the word. When he was attacked suddenly, he instinctively condensed the divine talisman into a shield to resist it. At that time, Long Chen's big hand had already held the dragon bone Xiaoyu, and once the shield burst, he would cut off that guy's claws. But he didn't expect that the shield was so powerful that the endless energy of the world was absorbed by it, and it actually directly blocked the dragon's blow. You must know that the talisman at this time is still in the primitive stage, and Long Chen has just realized a little bit of superficiality. Long Chen knew that to control this kind of rune, he first needed to fuse his own power with it. He could use the power of blood, he could use the power of soul, and then use his own power as a guide to release the rune. The moment the rune is released, it will absorb a large amount of power from heaven and earth, which is the same as the principle of various magical powers. A person's power is limited, but the power of heaven and earth is infinite. If a person is skillful enough, he can attract the power of heaven and earth that is 100 times or even 1,000 times stronger than his own power. Long Chen's talisman has not yet integrated into his own power, so it just instinctively absorbs the power of heaven and earth to strengthen itself. However, it is the shield condensed from such an original rune, which is both rigid and soft, but can easily block the blow of the strongest. You know, the magic dragon just now is an extremely terrifying existence. Although it is not as good as Long Zhe and others, it already belongs to that level of existence. That guy is too scary, why don't we run separately? At this moment, the devil bird shouted, its voice trembling, obviously frightened. Although the devil bird has devil blood in its body and belongs to a branch of the devil clan, it is still affected by Long Wei, and its soul is trembling all the time. That's the shadow evil dragon. It has the power of invisibility. It didn't catch up but was upset when you overtook it, so it attacked. Don't be afraid of it. If I didn't dislike its slow speed, I would have grabbed it for transportation. Long Chen said lightly. Although I didn't recognize its origin at the time, but after thinking about it, it should be the legendary shadow evil dragon. This shadow evil dragon is huge, can hide in the void, and use the power of heaven and earth to fly without consuming its own physical strength. Because of its huge size, its strength is consumed very quickly, so it spends most of its time in an invisible state to reduce the consumption of its body. Moreover, its strength is indeed not taken seriously by Long Chen. Although Long Chen wants to kill it, although it can't be said to be easy, it doesn't take much effort. Hearing what Long Chen said, and thinking that Long Chen had neutralized the evil dragon's attack with a single blow, the devil bird suddenly became more courageous. Don't underestimate that shadow evil dragon. Although it only condenses 2 natal dragon veins, their family is notoriously stupid. They have a violent blood technique. Once activated, it will be at the cost of life. It can increase explosive power by 10 times in a short time. Qian Kuan-ding said, increase 10 times? That's really strong enough. Wait, you're talking about the dragon veins of life? Long Chen asked. The so-called natal dragon veins are the alien dragon veins you have seen before. When a practitioner advances to the 9 meridians heavenly sage, the power of the heavenly way is complete, and he uses the power of the heavenly way to tap the power of his own destiny. However, 99% of practitioners cannot withstand the impact of Tianmai dragon energy with their natal power. This requires the blessing of luck. If luck is insufficient, if they are forced to improve, they will only die and disappear, and everything will be empty. Only a very small number of strong people can do this. When natal and celestial destiny are fused together, and the power of natal destiny commands the power of celestial destiny, this Tianmai dragon qi will change and form the natal Tianmai. You humans also like to call it Qi Yun Longmai. Whether it's the natal dragon vein or the luck dragon vein, it's just a name, you don't have to worry about it. Like Long Zhe and Jiang Yue, after they have completed the convergence of the 9 veins, they have entered the fusion of the natal and heavenly veins, and the achievement determines the master. Qian Kunding explained. Then what do you mean, I omitted the convergence of the 9 meridians and directly entered the fusion of the natal and heavenly meridians? Long Chen was taken aback. Qian Kunding said, you can't say that your fusion has deviated from the inheritance of the 9-star lineage, and you can't use other people's experience to describe you. You have embarked on a road that no one else has traveled. Now the 3,000 talismans are imprinted in your star C, and there are endless variables, no one can explain your path. In addition, you have 3 bloodlines. The strange thing is that when you condense the dragon energy of Tianmai, there is no movement in the 3 bloodlines. It stands to reason that they should come out to share a piece of the pie when the Tianmai dragon energy gathers, and take part of the Tianmai dragon energy as their own to prepare for the condensed natal dragon energy. But they seem to be asleep, and they don't fight or grab, which completely violates the instinct of life. Even the Qiankuan cauldron couldn't figure out what was going on with Long Chen's blood, everything was too abnormal. In any case, judging from the current situation, everything is beneficial, you can practice with peace of mind. You don't have to worry, I'm recovering quickly now. As those runes are gradually unsealed, my memory is also slowly awakening. This problem can definitely be figured out. Qian Kunding said, your memory hasn't awakened yet? Long Chen was taken aback. Part of my memory has been sealed, but I don't know exactly which rune it is sealed in. Moreover, I clearly know Longu Shiyue, and Longu Shiyue must also know me, but neither of us has any memory about each other. However, I believe that as my runes are gradually unsealed, the memory will eventually be retrieved. Qian Kunding said, know each other but no memories of each other? Dragon Bone Evil Moon is just a mortal weapon, how could Qian Kuan Tripod recognize it? Although the Dragon Bone Evil Moon obtained a new body in the fairy world, Long Chen's soul told it that the Dragon Bone Evil Moon was still the same Dragon Bone Evil Moon, and its soul had not changed. Boom! While the demon bird was flying, suddenly there was a loud explosion, and a terrifying air wave hit. Long Chen and the demon bird groaned, and were blown away by the terrifying air wave. Chapter 5637. What shocked Long Chen was that the air wave actually contained the pure power of destiny. The power of destiny, which was so precious before, was surging like money, and directly sent them flying. Boom! Ripples are surging, like raging waves sweeping across the sea, the surrounding giant trees are wiped out in an instant, and the smoke and dust are billowing, just like a dragon waving its tail. In front of its power, people feel so small. At the same time, the dragon blood in Long Chen's body began to become frenzied. Long Chen looked in the direction of the huge waves in the distance. At that moment, he sensed an ancient and desolate atmosphere. Over there, Long Chen's heart was beating wildly. He sensed the aura of Emperor Dao kneeling. Long Chen spread the thunder wings behind his back, left the devil bird behind, and rushed directly into the billowing air waves. The birth of Emperor Dao Nilin has swept the universe, and according to Long Chen's experience, the release of breath may last for a while. During this period of time, the huge body of the devil bird would become a burden, and he couldn't run as fast as he alone. Seeing that Long Chen kept his agreement and did not kill it, the devil bird glanced at the direction Long Chen left, and flew in another direction. Hoo! Long Chen went against the wind, and the wind blew on his face like a knife. Suddenly the space trembled, Long Chen's vision went dark, and a huge figure slammed towards Long Chen. The figure came too suddenly, there was no warning in advance, and there was no spatial fluctuation, which startled Long Chen and instinctively slashed out. The huge body let out a stern scream, and it was only then that Long Chen realized that this was a strong monster. Long Chen slapped its buttocks, and directly slapped its lower body. To Long Chen's surprise, this monster is not strong, It is just an ordinary six-veined heavenly sage, and it does not condense its own dragon veins at all. With its strength, how can it go against the current? Long Chen was stunned, and then instantly understood that they should have been around before the Emperor Dao Nilin of Emotion was born. This monster must not be able to withstand the force of the wind. It was blown out, and smashed all the way towards Long Chen. This guy was also unlucky. Half of his body was smashed by Long Chen, but he was blown away by the wind without even seeing Long Chen's shadow clearly. Got to speed up. Some people have already approached the Emperor's way against the scales, and Long Chen was a little anxious. It would be troublesome if the strong ones took the lead. The Chaos Dragon Emperor said that this Nilin has been born with intelligence and is not controlled by it. It is not left to whomever it wants, and must be fought with its own strength. Long Chen stepped on the void, and his figure was as fast as lightning. Even if he was going upstream, his speed was still astonishing. After running for a stick of incense, suddenly countless figures flickered in front of him, and a pungent evil aura rushed towards his face. The aura was exactly the same as that unlucky guy before. As they got closer, Long Chen could see clearly that this was a group of strange monsters with a single horn on their head and several feet tall, which Long Chen had never seen before. There are hundreds of thousands of monster powerhouses. They gather together, holding chains in their big hands, and relying on the pull of the chains, they can resist the terrifying wind. A member of the Sky Demon Alliance, Long Chen saw that these people were drawing a strange pattern in a conspicuous position, and immediately recognized that this group of demon clans had also joined the Sky Demon Alliance. When Long Chen flew past this group of Monster Clan powerhouses, a Monster Clan powerhouse held a long sword and slashed at Long Chen. Don't want. The strong man of the monster race slashed down with a sword, and there was an exclamation in front of the team. The person who exclaimed was their leader, a strong man who had condensed a natal dragon vein, and he saw that Long Chen was not as easy to mess with. However, other Yaozu powerhouses couldn't see it. Seeing Long Chen flying past them, he just hit him. Originally, Long Chen didn't bother to deal with these ants, and it would only waste time to attack them, but he didn't expect that someone on the other side was so bold that he would attack him first. Boom! With Keel Sia in his hand, Long Chen slashed down with a single knife. Puff puff! Thousands of miles of knife shadows fell, the void trembled, and the entire monster team was pierced by Long Chen. Long Chen's knife not only pierced through the team, but also cut off the dense chains. The powerhouses of the monster clan exclaimed, and they were all swept out by the wind. Damn human race, I will fight with you. The leader of the monster clan strongman roared, and the power of Tianmai burned with a battle axe, and slashed at Long Chen. The battle axe was originally inserted into the ground, and it was nailed there like a sea god's needle. Their chains were tied to the handle of the axe, and they barely supported it. Long Chen broke the chain with a knife, and everyone flew out. The leader was furious and rushed up with gritted teeth. Boom! Keel Shiyue cut through the giant axe, and with a bang, the man and his battle axe shattered together, turning into debris and blood mist. A bunch of idiots. Long Chen was resisted by that person, and his speed suddenly slowed down, and he couldn't help cursing inwardly. Originally, everyone was safe and sound, so they had to come to seek death. It didn't matter if these guys were dead. The speed slowed down in the countercurrent, and it would take a lot of effort to increase the speed. Long Chen continued to go upstream, and the speed had just increased a little, but a group of figures appeared in front of him, which turned out to be a group of strong demons. Long Chen couldn't help cursing bad luck, but he had no choice but to continue to charge forward. However, this group of strong demons obviously had some brains, and they saw that Long Chen was unusual and did not take the initiative to provoke Long Chen. If they didn't provoke Long Chen would naturally not talk to them. No one stopped him, and Long Chen galloped forward quickly. Buzz! Suddenly, the jade tablet on Long Chen's waist flashed rapidly, and the blood-red runes trembled crazily. No, the Dragon Blood Legion is in trouble. Long Chen's face changed drastically. This jade talisman is an emergency communication talisman, which is different from the usual communication talisman. In order to be able to reach far, This jade talisman can only receive messages and indicate directions, and it is a one-time use. It is not a last resort. This rune will not be used. Boom! After the jade tablet flickered for a while, it burst into pieces instantly. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly, and he immediately changed direction and rushed towards the oblique front. Where is the human race boy? Get out! Long Chen galloped forward, and suddenly there was a roar in front of him, and the other party seemed to be close to kill. Go away, dare to block Laozi's way, Laozi will make you regret coming to this world. Long Chen roared like a violent thunder, and the supreme killing intent contained in his voice almost froze people's souls. It was a group of strong men of different races, with a total of millions of people. It can be said to be an extremely large team. The leader is a strong man who has condensed 2 natal veins. When he heard Long Chen's roar, he trembled in fright, and at this moment, Long Chen had already rushed to their team. These people were so frightened that they hurriedly fell to the ground. Long Chen dragged the thunder wings and flew over their heads. They didn't dare to move. The power of the stars under Long Chen's feet flowed, and the speed was increased to the extreme. After running for a whole hour, Long Chen suddenly felt a familiar breath, which was the breath of Wanlong's nest, which indicated that the distance was very close. With this aura, Long Chen's spirits were lifted immediately, and he could determine the exact location of everyone. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly the bitter wind in front disappeared, and at the same time the sound of overlapping air waves sounded, followed by a sharp and cold voice. Women of Fengshenhage, just because you want to stop my Sky Demon Alliance's footsteps? It's just a dream, kill them all for me. Hearing these words, Long Chen's head suddenly buzzed, and murderous aura erupted like a volcano. Chapter 5638. Long Chen rushed forward, and suddenly the space in front of him eased up instantly. Then Long Chen saw endless figures, just like the tide rolling, and the torrent composed of hundreds of millions of strong people stirred the void. In front of the endless torrent, there is a huge space passage, and in front of the passage, a 10,000 dragons' nest tightly blocks the passage. That 10,000 dragons' nest is the treasure from the dragon realm. At this time, the divine radiance flowing all over its body blocked that huge passage with its own power. However, to Long Chen's surprise, none of the dragon blood warriors was seen, and Tang Weiner was leading the hidden dragon warriors and the strong men of Fengshenhai Pavilion to guard in front of Wanlong's nest. A man in a golden robe confronts. Tang Weiner and the group of Fengshenhage experts were covered in blood, and they had obviously gone through a tough battle. The man in the golden robe and holding a long golden stick was not tall, a head shorter than Tang Weiner, but his whole body was full of monsters, and there were 6 natal meridians flowing behind him. Each natal meridian is made of gold, and the golden blood is permeating. Even Long Chen feels suffocated. This passage was opened by the Dragon Blood Legion. If you want to share, it depends on whether you have the ability. Tang Weiner sneered. The divine power fluctuated all over her body, endless wind blades circulated, and 4 cyan dragon veins floated on her back. These were her natal dragon veins, and within these dragon veins contained endless sacred energy. Tang Weiner was at a very disadvantage from the 4 meridians against the 6 meridians, but her sacred aura was not suppressed by the other party's demonic aura at all, and her aura was not lost to the other party in the slightest. Split the cup? You are wrong. When did I, Ho Tianwu, eat leftovers? I heard that Long Chen is very arrogant. Dare to challenge the Heavenly Demon Alliance. Today, I will let him experience what absolute strength is. I will kill his brother first, and then capture his woman. I will make him regret coming to this world. That Ho Tianwu sneered, his voice arrogant, like an emperor looking down on all living beings. What are you? Big brother Long Chen is here. I'm afraid you will be beaten to the knees and beg for mercy. Xiaoya beside Tang Weiner sneered, angry at Ho Tianwu. At this time, Xiaoya has also condensed a natal dragon vein. Not only her, there are 18 experts in the Hidden Dragon Legion, all of whom have condensed a natal dragon vein, and everyone else is a 9-veined heavenly sage. Court Death being angered by Xiaoya, Ho Tianwu sneered coldly, opened his big hand, golden light was shining, Xiaoye's whole body space was distorted suddenly, forming a vortex, and he was about to be sucked into the vortex. Tang Weiner saw something was wrong, the long sword trembled, and she was about to make a move, but at the moment she made a move, the distorted space around Xiaoye disappeared instantly, which surprised Tang Weiner. Could it be that this guy was making a move? Boom! At this moment, a figure flashed, and a blue brick slapped Ho Tianwu hard on the head. With a bang, Ho Tianwu was sent flying by the brick. Brother Long Chen. Seeing that figure, the hidden dragon warriors burst into cheers, and the blood of all the experts in Fengshanhai Pavilion was boiling with enthusiasm. Fengshanhai Pavilion has 30 million strong people, and the lineup is at its peak, but the enemies they face are hundreds of times more than them. Moreover, the opponent was so strong that they were so oppressive that they couldn't breathe. They knew that the probability of surviving was very low. But Tang Weiner vowed to protect the Dragon Blood Legion to the death, and they could only bite the bullet and fight bloody. If they said they were not afraid, it would be a lie. Now that Long Chen appeared, the experts in the Fengshanhai Pavilion suddenly gained a lot of confidence, and their fears were instantly reduced a lot. Long Chen sent Ho Tianwu flying with a brick. Without even looking at him, he came directly to Tang Weiner. What happened? The souls of the two merged, and Long Chen instantly understood what had happened. It turned out that the Dragon Blood Legion came here directly after entering the Tianmai Profound Realm. With the power of Dragon Blood, they awakened the Emperor Dao Nilin. During this long process, they consumed endless original power, almost exhausting the power of blood and soul. Due to the long-term confrontation with Long Wei with the power of will, they were exhausted, and their essence, energy, and spirit were all overdrawn. Now that Emperor Dao Nilin was born, with Emperor Dao Nilin as the core, 8 passages appeared. Because of the birth of Emperor Dao Nilin, endless energy spewed out from the 8 passages. This time is the best time for the Dragon Blood Warriors to recover. However, just as the passage was opened, countless strong monsters came like hyenas, following the breath of flesh and blood. Ordinary Dragon Blood Warriors were already exhausted and fell into a coma. Gu Yang and others hurriedly sent them to Wanlong's lair to recuperate. I tried my best to fight against the strong monsters, but there were more and more strong monsters, and Gu Yang and others had already sent out a call for help. But the call for help was suppressed by Emperor Nilin, and they couldn't get far. Fortunately, Tang Weiner arrived just in time. Seeing that the Dragon Blood Legion was in crisis, she immediately rescued them. After Tang Weiner arrived, seeing that Gu Yang and the others were seriously overdrawn, she ordered them to quickly enter Wanlong's nest to recover their strength, and leave it to her here. Gu Yang was not at all worried that Tang Weiner could deal with so many strong men alone, but he had no choice but to grit his teeth and enter the Wanlong's nest, hoping that Tang Weiner could last for a while, and they only needed to recover half of their physical strength to join the battle up. However, the Sky Demon Alliance has a large number of people, and they don't know how they transmit the message, and their people keep coming. An hour had passed since Tang Weiner appeared, and the ground was already stained red with blood. However, the more the enemy killed, the stronger they became. It wasn't until this Ho Tianwu appeared that the powerhouses of the monster clans stopped their actions, which gave them a chance to breathe. Damn it, dare to sneak attack your Grandpa Tianwu. Ho Tianwu was hit by a brick from Long Chen, and he flew out, but he was not injured at all. He was wearing a golden crown on his head. When the brick hit his head, the golden crown lit up, giving birth to protection, protecting him. Although the body was not injured, but the spirit was greatly humiliated, then Ho Tianwu roared, and the golden stick in his hand was filled with golden light, and he slammed down on Long Chen. Faced with Ho Tianwu's blow from the back, Long Chen didn't turn his head back. He waved his big hand, and the dragon bone Shiwei behind him appeared in his hand. On that golden long stick. Boom, there was a loud explosion, the starlight flowed, and the golden light flashed. Ho Tianwu was shocked by Long Chen's knife and stepped back several steps. At that moment, the faces of the strong men of the Sky Demon Alliance changed. They knew how strong this Ho Tianwu was, and Ho Tianwu was forced to retreat with a knife. Long Chen forced Ho Tianwu back with a slash, and turned his head slowly. This slash looked majestic, suppressing Ho Tianwu by a bit. But Long Chen himself knew that this knife he took a coincidence. Ho Tianwu suffered a secret loss, a simple contact, but Long Chen felt that this person's strength did not seem to be inferior to Long Zhe. 8-star battle body, open. Facing such a powerful opponent, Long Chen no longer held back, shouted angrily, and directly summoned the strongest posture. Chapter 5640 for the Sky Demon and Golden Monkey Clan. This sentence is taboo, and it is the sentence they hate the most. Ho Tianwu gritted his teeth and said with a gloomy face, "Damn human race, do you know that your human race was originally just a group of slaves, the private property of all races, and the blood food of our demon clan? You dare to laugh at the great demon clan? Family?" Obviously, Long Chen's words hurt them thoroughly, and Ho Tianwu directly dug up the history of the human race. Great? What idiots! If you are so great, why do you appear in human form? If you really want to lose face, why do you want to save the emperor's calamity? If you are capable, you skip this step? Looking down on the human race, learning the appearance of the human race to practice, and holding weapons made by the human race, they are really a group of shameless animals. Long Chen sneered. In terms of cursing, who has Long Chen never convinced, let alone a group of brainless monsters? Squeak. Ho Tianwu was left speechless by the scolding, and was so angry that he squeezed the long golden stick in his hand to sizzling. The veins on his forehead popped up, looking like he was going to bite someone. Stupid guy, because you are a descendant of 9 stars, I wanted you to live a little longer, but why are you in such a hurry to reincarnate? Ho Tianwu gritted his teeth. Idiot, don't waste time, your IQ is not as high as my shoe sole, so you don't have to try to learn the secret of the 9 stars from me. Long Chen waved the dragon bone in his hand, pointing at Ho Tianwu. With Ho Tianwu's careful thinking, Long Chen knew what he was going to do with his heels. He paused deliberately, because he wanted to catch Long Chen's words. With this IQ, he also wanted to get useful information from Long Chen. Isn't it whimsical? Ho Tianwu, whose thoughts were exposed, suddenly became angry from embarrassment, his eyes almost burst into flames, and he said with a ferocious face, "Damn human race, since you refuse to say it, then I will force you to say it." Ho Tianwu roared angrily. Boom! His whole body was full of golden light. With him as the core, a golden ocean instantly covered the entire battlefield. Ho Tianwu's figure flickered and disappeared instantly. The moment he disappeared, Long Chen also disappeared. Suddenly, a golden light gathered in front of Tang Weiner. Ho Tianwu's figure appeared in front of her without any warning. Xiaoye and the others exclaimed, and instinctively attacked. "Screw your sister, such an ugly monkey, don't scare my wife." Boom! Just as Ho Tianwu appeared, a brick slapped him hard on the face. With a bang, the golden light was dazzling, and Ho Tianwu was thrown flying by the brick. Ho Tianwu wanted to sneak attack Tang Weiner, intending to capture Tang Weiner in one fell swoop and force Long Chen to reveal the secret of the 9 stars. However, who is Long Chen? As soon as Ho Tianwu pouted his butt, Long Chen knew what shit he was going to do. With the bricks in hand, no matter how fast Ho Tianwu is, he will still be caught by Long Chen. With a successful move, Long Chen put away the bricks, carried the Kiel Xiaoyu, and walked with the knife, straight to Ho Tianwu, who flew out. Boom boom boom. As soon as Long Chen made a move, 19 knives were thrown like a storm. People followed the knives, and each knife was accompanied by the power of violent stars. Ho Tianwu roared again and again, frantically resisting. Laugh. After blocking 18 stabs in a row, the 19th stab was not blocked after all, and the Kiel Evil Moon slashed across his waist. However, no blood was seen after the knife was cut, and Kiel Shiyue was bounced away by a strange force. And Ho Tianwu also took the opportunity to roll out, broke away from Long Chen's combo, and quickly opened the distance. Long Chen did not continue to pursue, lost this opportunity, and wanted to continue to attack. It was meaningless. It has to be said that this Ho Tianwu is indeed very strong. When Long Chen was close to him, he blocked 18 swords in a row, which shows that this guy's fighting instinct is very keen. It is impossible to see the fast break at that speed. Everything can only be resisted by feeling, and this feeling is accumulated from endless fighting. You are still wearing the soft armor made by the human race. If it weren't for this soft armor, you would have been cut in two. You have to thank the human race, otherwise you would not be qualified to continue to be the king. Long Chen said disdainfully. Long Chen's ridicule was sharp. Hou Tianwu sneered at the human race, mocking him to the fullest. The weapons in his hands and the soft armor worn under his clothes were all made by the human race. Hou Tianwu was startled and angry. Long Chen's attack was weird and ferocious, and he was not given any chance to breathe. In that state, he had all the abilities, but he couldn't use them. He looked at his waist, where the golden silk soft armor had been cut open, and blood slowly overflowed. This golden silk soft armor is the treasure of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey clan. It is woven from the silk spit out by golden silkworms in the era of chaos. With the blessing of runes, it has amazing defensive power and is almost indestructible. However, the golden soft armor was scratched by dragon bone Shiyue, and he could clearly feel that the divine power of the golden soft armor was rapidly dissipating, and this magical weapon was destroyed just like that. Hou Tianwu was very distressed. The golden spirit silkworm had long been extinct. This was a truly peerless treasure, and it was destroyed just like that. The destruction of the treasure armor meant that if he was approached by Long Chen again, he might really be cut in two by Long Chen. He never thought that the long knife in Long Chen's hand was so sharp. The treasure armor was damaged and my heart ached. Hearing Long Chen's ridicule, Hou Tianwu roared angrily, "You human race are the lowly species we raise in captivity, lowly slaves. You can eat as you want and kill as you want. You should build things for us. You gave us your blood and soul back then, so what is a mere weapon? Your mouth is really stinky. Have you eaten shit?" Or the same sentence, "If you are really proud, why would you transform into a human form to practice?" Long Chen mocked. "Isn't it because of that bastard, the Lord of 9 Stars? He changed the rules of practice and broke the rules of practice. Do you think who is willing to transform into a human?" Hou Tianwu yelled angrily. Hearing Hou Tianwu's roar, Long Chen's heart moved. He had heard about the secret of the human sovereign realm before, saying that it was related to the power of the human race. Hou Tianwu is a strong man in the era of chaos. His words should be the most reliable. It seems that the practice of all races is stuck in the realm of the Emperor, which is the reason for the 9-Star Lord. Could it be that the 9-Star Lord did it on purpose? So what is his purpose? I am so angry. Hou Tianwu raised his head to the sky and yelled, trembling all over. The golden hair on his head fluttered, countless bloodshots appeared in the golden pupils, fangs appeared at the corners of his mouth, and his whole body became hideous. Damn human race, you have completely angered the noble prince. What awaits you is endless death. Seeing Hou Tianwu's furious appearance, the powerful members of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey clan cursed at Long Chen. "Shut up and arrest that bitch." Hou Tianwu suddenly waved his hand and gave the order directly. Court death. Hou Tianwu's order immediately enraged Long Chen. Suddenly, flames swirled around him above the stars, and the vast divine power erupted. At this moment, Long Chen no longer had any reservations. Chapter 56-41 Long Chen was furious. He didn't expect that this Hou Tianwu was so stupid that at this moment, he would even think about getting the secret of the descendant of 9 stars from him. Seeing Hou Tianwu's order, countless strong men rushed towards the hidden dragon army. Long Chen's murderous intent surged into the sky, the power of the stars burned, and he slashed at Hou Tianwu. "It seems that this girl is very important to you." Seeing Long Chen killing him like crazy, Hou Tianwu immediately understood Long Chen's vital point. His depression was swept away, and his face was full of ferocious smiles. Seeing Long Chen desperately, Hou Tianwu didn't dare to neglect. The power of the blood erupted, and the golden long stick buzzed and smashed at the dragon bone Shiyue. However, the moment Hou Tianwu struck out with a stick, he suddenly realized something was wrong. Long Chen's saber was powerful and heavy, but he didn't feel the deadly pressure. "You cheat!" Ho Tianwu was startled and furious. He never expected that Long Chen would be so cunning under his fury and actually made a false move. What Long Chen slashed was nothing more than a knife shadow, and under the cover of the knife shadow, Qi Shiyue stabbed straight to Ho Tianwu's chest. "You are too stupid," Long Chen shouted angrily. When Ho Tianwu hastily waved the long golden stick to block it, but it was blocked again. It turned out that Long Chen's blow looked extremely fast, but in fact it was much slower. Under Ho Tianwu's hasty block, he didn't notice this detail. When the golden stick passed in front of Qi Xiaoyu suddenly accelerated and stabbed straight out. Long Chen's two sabers, which seem ordinary, are actually the condensation of his life experience. You know, for a strong man like Ho Tianwu, it is extremely difficult to deceive him, but Long Chen did it. Puff! The cold light on the tip of Qi Xiaoyu's knife flashed, piercing through Ho Tianwu's chest in an instant. Boom! With a bang, the power on the Qi evil moon exploded, a bloody hole was blasted out in Ho Tianwu's chest, and blood spurted out wildly. What? This sudden change shocked everyone, and Ho Tianwu was severely injured by Long Chen in an instant. After a successful blow, Long Chen secretly cried out that it's a pity, this Ho Tianwu is too strong. Just as the dragon bone Shiyue pierced his body, the power of Ho Tianwu's blood burst out, forming a blockade. In order not to give Ho Tianwu a chance to block it, Long Chen directly detonated its power without waiting for the dragon bone evil moon to continue to penetrate. The detonation in advance cannot cause fatal damage to Ho Tianwu, but it is enough to injure Ho Tianwu with one blow. The wound on Ho Tianwu's chest was as big as a bowl, bloody, and his ribs were all broken. It looked extremely scary. The waving moon shocks the sky, Long Chen roared angrily, taking advantage of his illness to kill him. The waning moon floated in the sky, thousands of roads roared, and he cut down with one knife, shaking the universe. Long Chen didn't give Ho Tianwu any chance to breathe. Before Ho Tianwu recovered from the severe injury, Long Chen slashed down with all his strength. Ho Tianwu's face was distorted, and suddenly a mouthful of golden blood was sprayed on the long stick. The golden stick was nourished by the essence and blood, and billions of runes lit up, rapidly growing in size, passing thousands of miles away, like a beam that lifted the sky across the void. The golden stick became so huge that Long Chen looked like an ant in front of it. No one thought that Ho Tianwu would have such a move. Boom! Qi Shiyue slashed fiercely on the huge golden stick. Amidst the explosion, endless runes flew, and the runes wrapped on the golden stick burst into pieces. The originally gleaming golden stick suddenly disappeared. It dimmed down, and the strong aura of the long stick also faded instantly. Ho Tianwu hid behind the long golden stick, spurting out a mouthful of blood. He forcibly awakened the power of the golden long stick with the power of blood essence. As a result, Long Chen's blow caused the golden long stick and himself to be severely injured. The golden stick shrunk rapidly and fell from the sky. It was a terrifying magic weapon, but at this moment it seemed to be like scrap iron. The power of Long Chen's knife was completely resisted by the golden stick, but Ho Tianwu's mind and blood were connected with the divine weapon, and he was also severely injured, and his aura suddenly weakened a lot. Long Chen walked with the sword, took a step forward, and flashed in front of Ho Tianwu. At this time, Ho Tianwu was extremely aggrieved. His strength was astonishing, but Long Chen caught a weak point and fell into a place of eternal doom. He has amazing supernatural powers, but he can't use them. Seeing Long Chen slashing down with a knife, the arc that Qi Xiaoyu slashed through the void was like the corner of a devil's mouth, with endless sarcasm and coldness. Boom! Just when Long Chen thought he could kill Ho Tianwu with a single blow, a tortoise shell shining with a myriad of divine brilliance appeared in front of Long Chen. With Long Chen's knife, he slashed firmly on the tortoise shell. There was a loud explosion, and a burly bald man appeared. It was his timely appearance that saved Ho Tianwu's life. This is a strong man of the tortoise family, with divine blood flowing in his body, also a strong man sealed in the era of chaos, with 5 natal dragon veins flowing behind him, and his aura is not much inferior to Ho Tianwu. The tortoise family has always been known for its strong bloodlines and desperate defense capabilities. Puff, however, he blocked it with all his strength, his whole body shook violently, and a mouthful of blood spewed out wildly. Even the race with the strongest defense could not bear such a force. But even though he was injured, he gave Ho Tianwu a chance to breathe, and Long Chen was also shocked by the terrifying countershock force, making his blood surge. Long Chen didn't have time to get angry. He stepped out diagonally to the left, and then turned around. A phantom appeared in the void. Long Chen bypassed the strong man of the tortoise family like a ghost. At this time, if you attack the strong man of the tortoise family, there is a 90% probability that you can kill him. But the strong man of the tortoise clan is not Long Chen's target. His target is Ho Tianwu. The biggest reason why Long Chen wanted to kill Ho Tianwu was because he was the leader of the Heavenly Demon Alliance. Only by killing him, the Heavenly Demons would be leaderless. Would it be possible to resolve the immediate crisis? Boom! At this time, the strong men of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey clan had already led the other strong men of the Sky Demon Alliance to kill Tang Weiner and the others. This time, Tang Weiner didn't take the initiative to attack. The Jade Hands formed seals, and the airflow of the Tian Mai Dragon circulated, forming an enchantment, protecting everyone and Wanlong's nest in it. At the same time, the 30 million disciples of Fengshanhai Pavilion formed seals with their hands and chanted scriptures. The energy in their bodies surged and poured into the barrier continuously. With Tang Weiner's support, the energies of 30 million strong men gathered together and formed a rope. Countless attacks landed on the barrier and were bounced away one after another, without even arousing ripples. And the attack of the top powerhouse of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey clan just caused the barrier to tremble for a while, and it was impossible to break it at all. Don't stop, we have a lot of people, and the energy consumption will kill them. A leader of the Sky Demon and Golden Monkey clans saw that it was impossible to break through, and shouted directly, intending to use a war of attrition. Boom boom boom. Countless powerful men from the Heavenly Demon clan attacked the barrier frantically. They were very anxious because they found that Long Chen was more difficult to deal with than they imagined. If they couldn't take down Tang Weiner and the others quickly, they might have to bear Ho Tianwu's endless pressure afterwards. Anger. However, the powerhouses of the Sky Demon Alliance were anxious, and Tang Weiner in the barrier was even more anxious. Seeing that there were more and more powerhouses in the Sky Demon Alliance, it was extremely dangerous for Long Chen to face the top experts alone. And she wants to protect the strong men of Fengshanhai Pavilion and the Dragon Blood Warriors in Wanlong's lair from being disturbed. She can only watch Long Chen fall into a hard fight. Anxiously, she clenched her silver teeth tightly, but there is no way. But at this time, Long Chen dodged the strong man of the Tortoise clan and charged at Ho Tianwu from a strange angle, without giving Ho Tianwu any chance to adjust. However, just as Long Chen was about to make a move, the golden sharp claws tore through the void and grabbed towards Long Chen. The sharp claws pierced through the air, and all the 10,000 laws were caught and exploded. It was a golden-winged rock. This golden-winged rock, golden-winged golden claw, is also a strong man who has condensed 5 natal veins, showing his body, and his whole Buddha's strength is concentrated on the golden claw. Long Chen was startled and angry. Ho Tianwu could be killed. So many people came to make trouble, and each of them was such a terrifying existence. They hadn't been seen just now, but now they all appeared one by one. Facing a strong man of this level, Long Chen had no choice but to give up hunting Ho Tianwu, holding a knife in both hands, and a divine light bloomed above the keel evil moon, slashing at the golden sharp claws. Boom! With a bang, the golden claws were chopped off by Long Chen, and the golden juice splashed, which was the blood of the golden-winged rock. Although this golden-winged rock is in the same realm as the strong man of the tortoise family, it doesn't know whether it has no weapons or is too confident in its own sharp claws. As a result, it was chopped off by Long Chen. The golden-winged rock screamed and flew backwards. Long Chen didn't care about his anger, and the starlight flowed under his feet, rushing towards Ho Tianwu like a shooting star. At this time, the golden stick had returned to Ho Tianwu's hands, and the big hole in Ho Tianwu's chest had also been repaired. At that moment, Long Chen's heart sank. The golden long stick that had been dull before had regained its divine brilliance, and I don't know what secret method Ho Tianwu used just now to restore the golden long stick in an instant. But no matter what, Long Chen had no way out. He had to kill Ho Tianwu, and he had to do it as quickly as possible. Want to kill me? Go ahead and dream. Watch my blood pulse, and the demon ancestor descends. Ho Tianwu yelled. He threw the long golden stick above his head, clasped his hands together, the blood in his whole body ignited, gathered into a beam of light, and rushed towards the long golden stick. The golden long stick trembled violently, spinning rapidly in the void, and then a vortex was stirred up in the void, and the vortex turned faster and faster, and then a vast and desolate breath emerged. The vortex seemed to open the door of time and space, and then the violent and bloody fluctuations floated, as if creatures from the era of chaos were coming. Long Chen's heart trembled, but the golden stick turned slower and slower, and the vortex became smaller and smaller. At that moment, Ho Tianwu's face became extremely ugly. At this moment, Dragon Bone Shiyue had already slashed in front of him. Ho Tianwu had no choice but to interrupt the summoning, and drew the long golden stick into his hand to block Long Chen's blow. Obviously, this move of his failed. He was injured continuously before, lost his precious blood, and didn't have enough strength to complete it. Boom! Long Chen slashed down, Ho Tianwu's hands shattered, and the golden long stick dropped his hand and hit his mouth. Ho Tianwu's mouth was very hard, but it was useless at this time. The golden stick directly smashed his jaw. Ho Tianwu snorted in pain, and was sent flying by his own weapon. At this moment, laughter resounded like thunder, and then a strange man covered in crystals appeared in front of Long Chen. When he saw the spar monster, Long Chen's pupils suddenly shrank. Chapter 56-42 Blood Crystal Lizard. When he saw that man, Long Chen's heart beat wildly, and he recognized the man's identity. Long Chen had dealt with the strong men of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan before. The strong men of this family possessed powerful thick soil power, and a special power in their thick soil power was called crystal power. The man's body was covered with spar-like scales, as if he was wearing spar armor. On the scales, blood-colored runes flowed, like a natural formation. As soon as he appeared, the earth trembled, and the endless power of the thick earth rushed towards him involuntarily, and the thick earth runes surrounded him, as if worshipping a king. Different from other powerhouses of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan, even his pupils are made of crystals, as if two gemstones were inlaid in his flesh and blood. Being stared at by these eyes makes one feel chills all over his body, as if the soul is to be frozen. 7 spar dragons are rising behind this person, and 7 natal dragon veins have been condensed out of nowhere. This is the highest level of heaven that Long Chen has seen so far. He stood above the void and looked down at the battlefield. Although he was alone, he was able to overwhelm the entire arena with force, like an emperor descending into the world. His gaze swept across the battlefield, paused for a while on Tang Weiner and Long Chen, and finally looked at Ho Tianwu. A strange arc appeared on his cheek covered with chips, and he said with endless sarcasm, "Ho Tianwu, known as the peerless arrogance of the heavenly demon Golden Monkey clan, one of the heirs to the throne, is there only these 2 things? Being beaten so embarrassingly by a small human race? Just like that, he is still qualified to command the Heavenly Demon Alliance. It is better to give up the position of Commander-in-Chief obediently." The strong man of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan shook the sky with his voice, and his invincible will was stirred. Countless strong men of the Sky Demon Alliance were trembling from his voice. It turns out that the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan is a race with a lot of background. In the era of chaos, it was also a giant. But at that time, the monster clans all surrendered to the Chaos Dragon Emperor, but although they surrendered on the surface, they were not under the jurisdiction of the Dragon Clan. As long as they did not provoke the Dragon Clan would not be willing to be their enemies. Submission was only in name. Now that time has passed, the Chaos Dragon Emperor has disappeared, and the Dragon Clan is torn apart. Even if there are some remaining Dragon Clans, They are no longer considered a threat because the dragons have no leader and constant internal fighting. The Heavenly Demon Golden Monkey Clan is powerful and has a rich background. They formed the Sky Demon Alliance. With their strong strength, they coerced and lured countless strong clans. However, there are also many strong clans who look down on the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan, knowing that they are powerful, but they are brave and foolhardy, unable to achieve great things, and have not joined the Sky Demon Alliance. The Crystal Monster Lizard Clan used to be as famous as the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan, and was also one of the royal families among the monsters. Naturally, they were unwilling to be subordinated to others, but because they started too late and the Sky Demon Golden Monkey had many followers, it was too late for them to form an alliance. The Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan had talked with the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan several times, but how could the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan be willing to be their subordinates? The Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan thought that the Sky Demon Golden Monkey was too arrogant. But the Sky Demon and Golden Monkeys thought that the Blood Crystal Monster Lizards didn't know how to flatter them, so they couldn't recognize the situation at this moment, so they directly issued a challenge to the Blood Crystal Monster Lizards. The Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan will naturally not be afraid of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan. If you want to fight with you, who is afraid of whom? But the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan miscalculated this time. Although the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan has no brains, but among the forces that rely on them, some races have brains. Instead, use the power of the Sky Demon Alliance to gradually silk the territory of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard. They also set up an ambush to secretly ambush the new generation disciples of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan. If there were too many ants, they could kill an elephant. The most important thing is that there are strong men like the Sky Demon Golden Monkey who are evenly matched with them. If this continues, the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan will not be able to consume the other party at all. In the end, the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan just hid. After the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan hid, the morale of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan suddenly increased, and those monster clans who were still waiting and watching, seeing that the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan did not dare to challenge the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan, finally had to join in. You know, the powerful Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan was forced to bow their heads, who has the ability to fight against the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan. As for the Blood Crystal Demon Lizards who were hiding, the Sky Demon and Golden Monkeys didn't dare to force them too much. Seeing that the other party could no longer pose a threat to them, they stopped forcing them. After all, they were also afraid of driving the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan to a dead end, and the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard would fight back in the face of death. Even if the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard was eventually wiped out, the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan could not afford such a huge loss. The most important thing is that there are not only two of them in the royal family among the monsters. Who knows if other families are secretly watching? If the Heavenly Demon and Golden Monkey Clan were seriously injured and the other royal families took action, all their hard work would be in vain, or they would be wiped out. Therefore, the two clans have always kept the water in check, and the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan has developed in a low-key manner. On the contrary, in the past 100 years, the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan has become restless, because countless geniuses have appeared in the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan. The Monster Lizard Clan grew rapidly, and even had several frictions with the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan. Some people in the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan let go of their wild words, thinking that the Sky Demon Golden Monkey Clan has declined and has no successors. Now, the man from the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan descended. His words were full of provocations. His words almost exploded Ho Tianwis' lungs. He gritted his teeth and said, "Shui Ingfeng, I know you, one of the top powerhouses of the younger generation of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard Clan. I heard that you are shameless. In order to improve quickly, let a group of younger brothers collect the essence of destiny for you, sacrifice other people's time, and delay others' cultivation to help yourself. A selfish person like you is also qualified to speak of others? I, Ho Tianwu, don't bother to let others help me practice. Besides, you are here to command the Sky Demon Alliance. Do you want the entire Sky Demon Alliance to be a coward like you? It's a big joke." Hou Tianwu laughed, and many strong men behind Hou Tianwu laughed too in order to show their loyalty, but the strong man holding the tortoise-shell shield couldn't laugh. Facing Hou Tianwu's ridicule, Shui Yingfeng's mouth showed a sneer and said, "Being beaten like this by a small human race, you still have the nerve to talk nonsense? This is a big joke. Just look at me and wave your hand to suppress it." Call, Shui Yingfeng suddenly moved, and no one thought that he was spraying with Hou Tianwu, and he suddenly shot at Long Chen. He appeared in front of Long Chen in an instant, with a big hand stretched out, blood-colored crystals covered his entire palm. However, before he could make a move, a big hand full of stars slapped his face fiercely. "Suppress your sister, you mountain cannon." With a bang, Shui Yingfeng was slapped over by Long Chen under the horrified eyes of countless people. Chapter 56-43 Long Chen slapped Shui Yingfeng on the face, and Shui Yingfeng was flipped over. He obviously underestimated Long Chen, and thought that he could take Long Chen down instantly with an unexpected timing. In fact, this Shui Yingfeng is extremely arrogant, self-righteous, and smart. When he was mocking Hou Tianwu, he was quietly using the power of the dragon veins to lock a position next to Long Chen with the power of the domain, so that he could directly teleport to him to perform a surprise attack. It's just that Long Chen has seen his little tricks clearly. However, facing a master of Shui Yingfeng's level, the ultimate move must not be used, otherwise he will give birth to a sense and give up. Sneak attack. Unable to destroy his physical body, he simply humiliated his soul. Long Chen's slap was full of strength, but the huge countershock force made Long Chen's hands full of blood. Long Chen's slap seemed to be slapped on the granite, and Shui Yingfeng's face was pulled out with cracks, like a broken mask. After a slap, Long Chen was both surprised and delighted. What surprised him was that the crystal power of the bloody heroic wind was so terrifying that even a full blow could not break it. The good news is that if Shui Yingfeng is killed and his heavenly Dao fruit is obtained, whether it is given to Li Qi or Song Mingyuan, they will immediately have this heaven-defying ability. Long Chen turned Shui Yingfeng over with a slap, and the dragon bone Shiyue in his left hand swiped across the longbow and slashed down at Shui Yingfeng. Click, Long Chen slashed at Shui Yingfeng's head fiercely. The huge keel evil moon almost cut Shui Yingfeng's head completely, but a scene that shocked everyone appeared. Shui Yingfeng was not affected at all. With a roar, he smashed his fists at Long Chen's chest. Long Chen was also taken aback. The head was not the key point of Shui Yingfeng, he had misjudged it. Seeing Zhu Yingfeng's fists, the crystal blocks surged, as if wearing a pair of crystal gloves, and the 7 air currents on the crystal were rotating, which was gathered by the power of his 7 heavenly veins. This blow possessed the power of destroying the world. Long Chen did not dare to resist with his bare hands. Keel Shiyue immediately retreated and blocked with a horizontal knife. Boom! Long Chen's arms trembled violently, and blood gushed wildly. Shui Yingfeng's blow contained the power of a lifetime, and the power of the 7 natal veins was unreserved. At this time, the suppression of the dragon veins appeared. Long Chen possesses 5 celestial veins and dragon aura, which belongs to the midterm according to the heavenly sacred realm, while Shui Yingfeng has 7 natal celestial veins, which belongs to the late stage. The mid-stage and late stage are not only the superposition of quantity, but also a qualitative change. This is also the reason why Shui Yingfeng dared to come alone even though the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan and the Sky Demon Golden Monkey clan were in dire straits. It was because he had already taken that step. Shui Yingfeng punched Long Chen back, and his severed head healed instantly, as if he had been injured. But Long Chen's slap made him fall into madness. He was domineering and invincible all his life. When had he suffered such humiliation and was watched by so many people, he was going crazy. Die, Zhu Yingfeng let out a roar, and the dragon energy from the 7 veins behind him burned, and the scorching flames erupted, covering the world in an instant. Zhu Yingfeng rushed like a mad bull. He doesn't have a weapon, his body is a weapon, his whole body is covered by spar, like a demon wearing a spar armor, roaring towards Long Chen with killing intent. Let's see who dies first. Seeing Shui Yingfeng attack like crazy, Long Chen was also angry. So what if you have the advantage of realm? Shiyue, hack him to death. Long Chen roared, dragon bone evil moon moved high, the sea of stars behind him flowed, thousands of roads roared, the sea of stars gathered into a galaxy, and poured towards dragon bone evil moon. The endless starry sky was poured into dragon bone evil moon by Long Chen. What? All the strong people present were shocked. At that moment, everyone felt their souls tremble, their scalps went numb, and a strong threat of death enveloped everyone present. Even a powerhouse of Ho Tianwu's level couldn't help but be horrified. He didn't expect Long Chen to inspire such a terrifying big move. Evil moon shocking slash, Long Chen roared, dragon bone Shiyue carried all of Long Chen's star power, and slashed down. Long Chen bet everything on this blow, just to kill this guy. The bloody heroic wind who was originally crazy is not going crazy at this time. Feeling the will to destroy the world on the dragon bone evil moon, he feels like falling into an ice cellar, but at this time, he has been locked by the terrifying breath of the dragon bone evil moon. It is impossible to hide. Zhuing Fengfeng suddenly retracted his head and limbs, and turned into a stone ball with a diameter of Jiangsu. On the stone ball, 7 dragon patterns converged, and hundreds of millions of crystals circulated. This guy actually adopted absolute defense. Boom, the keel Shiyue slashed down like a heavenly knife, slashing fiercely on the stone ball, and with a bang, the stone ball exploded. Endless crystals flew out, punching holes in the void, and the world instantly became riddled with holes. Puff! The stone ball exploded, the spar flew, and a figure flew out of it in a panic. That person was Shui Yingfeng. At this time, he was in a panic, and he had already lost his previous arrogance. Spurting blood wildly. Not dead. Long Chen was shocked and angry. He burned all the power of the stars and fused with the power of Dragon Bone Shiyue. This blow was the strongest blow Long Chen had so far, but he still failed to kill this guy. Red Dragon Fighting Body, open. With a roar from Long Chen, the power of the dragon's blood exploded, and the power of the stars was exhausted, so he could only use the power of the dragon's blood. He still has strength. The powerhouses of the monster clan were horrified. After Long Chen fought hard against Ho Tianwu, Golden Wing Dapeng, and the powerhouses of the Turtle Clan, he killed Zhuing Fengfeng with a single knife, and he still had strength at this time. The loud dragon chant resounded throughout the world, but when Long Chen summoned the Red Dragon Battle Body, the frenzied dragon blood flowed in his body like magma, and the power of Long Chen's dragon blood became extremely violent. Long Chen didn't know if it was because of the Emperor Dragon's kneeling. Today's dragon blood warriors are a little different from before. But at this time, Long Chen couldn't control so much anymore. He had to kill Shui Yingfeng. This guy's ability was too terrifying. Die! The power of Long Chen's dragon blood erupted, and in the divine ring behind him, a giant dragon's claw ruthlessly grabbed Shui Yingfeng. Seeing Long Chen grabbing him with his claws, Shui Yingfeng was startled and angry. He was severely injured by Long Chen and hadn't recovered yet. Now, he couldn't stop Long Chen's move. Human kid, don't be arrogant. A tortoise shell shield appeared in front of Shui Yingfeng, and it was the strong man of the tortoise family again. Chapter 5644. When he saw the strong man of the tortoise clan, Long Chen was so angry that his lungs would explode. This dead tortoise, aren't you with Ho Tianwu? How could he help Shui Yingfeng? However, Long Chen soon understood that this bastard was betting on both sides. He saw that Zhuing Feng's potential was terrifying, and he might be able to unify the monster clan in the future. If he makes a move now, he can sell a favor. In addition, even if Ho Tianwu blames him, he can still say that Shui Yingfeng is a member of the monster race, and Ho Tianwu will kill him if he wants to kill him. How can he be killed by a human race? In this way, Ho Tianwu couldn't say anything. Long Chen couldn't think that this big turtle had such an IQ. Boom! The dragon's claws grabbed onto the shield of the tortoise shell, and with a bang, 5 deep claw marks were left on the tortoise shell. When he saw the claw marks on the tortoise shell, he almost died of distress. The tortoise shell is the treasure of their clan. If it was damaged by Long Chen, it would take thousands of years of cultivation to recover. However, his blow also successfully blocked Long Chen's killer, allowing Shui Yingfeng to breathe. At this time, Shui Yingfeng's half-disappeared body grew again, and his whole body was covered with spar. Although his breath had dropped, Long Chen's blow did not seem to endanger his life. The sky demon golden monkey and the blood crystal monster lizard are just a bunch of waste. The glory of the ancestors has long been extinguished. It's time for the monster clan to reshuffle. At this moment, a sneer came and a vast coercion swept across the sky. People's hearts trembled, and they followed the reputation and saw a black figure coming from the void. It's the Mammoth Golem family. The powerhouses of the Yaozu, someone exclaimed, recognized their identities. This group of people are over 10 feet tall and burly, with both demonic and demonic auras in their bodies. Before they arrive, the cold aura makes the hairs stand on end. The Mammoth Golem has no way to verify its ancestors because there are too many legends and no one knows the truth or falsehood. But one thing people know is that in modern times, the Mammoth clan somehow got infected with demon energy and formed a new race. They not only possessed the terrifying power of the monster clan, but also controlled the supernatural powers of the demon clan. The Mammoth Golem is a new race that has only appeared in people's field of vision in the last few thousand years, but they have risen like a comet, rampaging across the two races of demons and monsters, and their strength is amazing. Because both the Demon Clan and the Demon Clan regard them as aliens, but no matter how the two clans look down on them, the Mammoth Golem can still live happily, and it can be seen that their strength is very extraordinary. However, the Mammoth Golem family has always been very mysterious. Although people have heard of them, not many have seen them. Today, the appearance of millions of powerful Mammoth Golems has shocked countless people. The strong men of the Mammoth clan are tall, and the leader is a lot taller than the others, and the others only reach his armpits. This person's arms and neck were covered with blue veins, as if there were thousands of small snakes entangled under the skin. The sense of power and oppression was chilling. Under the entanglement of demonic and demonic energy, he is like a demon walking between the two worlds. His cold eyes are full of indifference and ridicule towards life. It's the seven-veined natal dragon vein again. When they saw the seven natal dragon veins entangled behind that person, all the monster powerhouses were horrified. What's going on? Could it be that they all came after Ho Tianwu? First there was the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan, and now there is the Mammoth Golem clan. Both of them have a higher realm than Ho Tianwu. Is this trying to compete for the right to rule the Sky Demon Alliance? Seeing the appearance of the powerful Mammoth Golem clan, Long Chen's heart sank. In the world of Tianyuan, the background of the monster clan is too terrifying. At this time, the light on Wanlong's nest flickered rapidly, which indicated that the Dragon Blood Warriors had entered an important stage of recovery. If they were awakened at this time, not only would they not be able to recover, they would even cause some irreversible damage. However, Gu Yang and others did not completely close the Wanlong nest because they were worried about the safety of Tang Weiner and others. They wanted to perceive the outside world through the Wanlong nest. If someone attacked Wanlong's nest, they would forcefully interrupt the recovery process and come out to fight to the death. However, Gu Yang's behavior put Long Chen in a dilemma. If Gu Yang completely closed the 10,000 Dragons' nest, then with the defense of the 10,000 Dragons' nest, these people would not be able to break into the 10,000 Dragons' nest. At best, they kicked the 10,000 Dragons' nest out of the space channel, but they couldn't hurt the Dragon Blood Warriors inside. But now it's different, everyone fell into a passive state. At this time, Long Chen's star power has been exhausted. Although he is blessed with the power of dragon blood, facing so many strong people, even Long Chen feels powerless for a while. Now recalling Feng Sinyu's warning, Long Chen understood what it means to not listen to the old man's words, and to suffer in front of his eyes. Sky Demon Golden Monkey? Blood Crystal Monster Lizard? Former royal family. It's a big joke. On the other side, Fan Tienda has firmly controlled the passage, and no one dares to cross the threshold. But here, a group of monster races surrounded the passage, but was blocked by a group of small human races, which was a great shame. The leader of the Mammoth Golem clan came to the battlefield and looked at everyone with a mocking look on his face. Yaozu, it's time for a new leader. Since you are so incompetent, let me Xiangtu take charge of Yaozu. Elephant 2? What are you? A race of unknown origin who also wants to rule the monster clan? Are you dreaming? Ho Tianwu sneered. At this moment, Ho Tianwu, after a short period of breathing, had already recovered a lot of his strength. Seeing that Xiang Tu was extremely arrogant, he couldn't help but sneer back. It doesn't matter whether the origin is unknown or not. The important thing is that the footsteps of my Mammoth Golem family will never be blocked by a few humble human races. If you can't do it, let me Xiangtu do it well. Xiang Tu snorted coldly, waved his big hand, and a white bone and ivory gun appeared in his hand. Kill all the humans for me. Xiang Tu let out a cold snort, stepped across the entire battlefield, and arrived in front of Long Chen. The power of the 7 veins ignited and swept across with a single shot. Boom! Facing a strong man of this level, Long Chen swung his sword to block with all his strength, but he had already fought against 2 masters, and his strength was seriously depleted. While his opponent was at his peak, Long Chen couldn't stop it at all, and was blown away by one blow. Ants of the human race, go to hell! Xiang Tu sent Long Chen flying with a blow, and a sarcasm appeared on the corner of his mouth. The long spear suddenly came out of his hand, and shot straight at Long Chen. The sound of piercing through the air was deafening. Dragon Dust, Tang Weiner was shocked, and was about to rush out to help Long Chen, but was stopped by Long Chen. If Tang Weiner hadn't presided over the barrier, it would explode instantly. If someone broke through the blockade and attacked Wanlong's nest, all efforts would be in vain. Long Chen suddenly put away the dragon bone Shiyue, formed a shield with his hands, a shield appeared, and a word appeared on the shield. Puff! The shield appeared, but was pierced by the ivory spear. Long Chen's heart trembled, the power of the stars was exhausted, and even the defensive power of the shield was weakened so much. However, although the shield was broken, it blocked the blow, and the spear was only a few inches away from Long Chen's nose. Snapped, suddenly a big hand was held on top of the spear shook violently, and the shield exploded, as if slaughtered. His figure was tall but extremely flexible. The moment the shield shattered, the spear pointed at Long Chen, his eyebrows pierced. Boom! Keel Shiyue returned to Long Chen's hand again, and precisely chopped on the tip of the spear, and the tip of the spear was cut off with a bang. Xiang Tu obviously didn't expect Long Chen's reaction to be so fast. He was staggered by Long Chen's knife, and fell towards Long Chen involuntarily. Dust slammed. Snapped, however, the moment he changed his move, Long Chen slapped him, and with a bang, Xiang Tu's out-of-control body was instantly straightened. This blow was not intended by Long Chen, but he instinctively slammed it when he saw the opponent's big face approaching him. After a crisp sound, the powerhouses of the entire Yaozu camp opened their mouths wide and looked at them in disbelief. Chapter 5645 The Peerless Powerhouse of the Monster Race, the monster of the chaotic era, stood on the top of the arrogance, overlooking the existence of the eternal fairy vault, but he couldn't escape Long Chen's claws. Ho Tianwu, Shui Yingfeng, and the elephant in front of him were so powerful that it was unimaginable that everyone was slapped by Long Chen. What is a slap in the face? It is an extreme humiliation. The stronger and more arrogant a person is, the more unable to bear this kind of humiliation. Today, however, Long Chen used the word humiliating to the fullest. Let alone whether Long Chen is alive or dead today, these 3 slaps alone are enough to make him famous all over the world. In fact, Long Chen didn't think about slapping Xiang Tu, and he didn't have that thought at this time. A slap that was neither painful nor itchy would bring no practical benefits to Long Chen at all. However, Xiang Tu brought his face closer, and Long Chen could only complete him. After a slap, Long Chen slashed the keel bone in Xie Yu's hand, and the power of dragon blood erupted. Buzz! However, what made Long Chen feel terrible was that at this moment his dragon blood power was extremely violent, and there were signs of being out of control. When he slashed out with a knife, the blade shook, and a finger-wide phantom appeared on the blade. This is a manifestation of the inability to concentrate the strength and the instability of holding the knife. In this state, the power of the dragon's blood cannot be truly exerted at all. Boom! Sure enough, Xiangtu made a block with his hands, and with a bang, Long Chen was shocked and flew upside down. A mouthful of blood spewed out. After a mouthful of blood, Long Chen's dragon blood power seemed to find a vent, and another mouthful of blood about to squirt. Long Chen was horrified, and hurriedly used the power of purple blood to suppress it. The power of purple blood is not as violent as that of dragon blood, but it is extremely gentle. When the power of purple blood hits, the violent power of dragon blood suddenly becomes soft-some. Chi-chi! However, the mouthful of blood that Long Chen spewed turned into light smoke in the void, and flew towards the direction of Wanlong's nest. In the end, the light smoke bypassed 10,000 dragons' nest and was absorbed by the huge channel. Long Chen's heart trembled. His blood essence was actually absorbed by Emperor Dao Niling. At that moment, Long Chen thought of a possibility that made his scalp tingle. He wanted to obtain Emperor Dao Niling, and Emperor Dao Niling also wanted the blood essence in his body. Damn reptile, dare to blaspheme Grandpa, die for me. Xiangtu was slapped by Long Chen. Although he was not injured, half of his face was hot. He was so angry that he stepped forward with a single step, and the ivory bone spear stabbed at Long Chen. The elephant massacre came, and Long Chen secretly groaned. At this time, his star power was exhausted, the power of dragon blood could not be used, and the power of purple blood was still soothing the power of dragon blood. On the keel bone in Long Chen's hand, the seven-color divine light circulated. In this state, he could only use the power of the seven-color supreme blood. Boom! The seven-colored light exploded, and the dragon bone Shiyue flew out of his hand, and Long Chen's right hand was shaken to a bloody mess. Dragon dust! Tang Weiner let out an exclamation in the distance. At that moment, her silver teeth bit her cherry lip, and blood flowed down the corner of her mouth. She wanted to save Long Chen in the past, but in that case, the dragon blood warriors would be in a desperate situation. If she saved Long Chen, if something happened to the dragon blood warriors, Long Chen would never forgive her. However, if she didn't make a move, Long Chen would definitely die in the hands of Xiangtu. Her tears couldn't stop flowing out. At that moment, her mind was blank and her whole body was trembling. She didn't know what to do. Puff! The dragon bone Shiyue was blown away, and Long Chen's empty door opened wide. Although the ivory spear was relieved of most of its strength, it did not change its direction and stabbed at Long Chen's chest. The sharp spear directly penetrated Long Chen's chest. The ivory spear, more than 10 feet long, pierced Long Chen's body. Seeing that the blow had seriously injured Long Chen, Xiangtu stretched out his big hand to grab Long Chen's throat. He didn't want Long Chen to die so soon, he wanted to make Long Chen worse off. Brother Long Chen. Seeing this scene, Xiaoye and the others wanted to tear their eyes apart. At that moment, they were about to go crazy and rushed out of the barrier to save Long Chen. At this moment, Long Chen's left hand suddenly opened, a strange vine leaf emerged, black thunder flowed, and an evil breath bloomed. A gloomy smile appeared on the corner of Long Chen's mouth, and the leaf in his hand slapped Xiangtu's chest fiercely. Xiangtu's fingers had already touched Long Chen's neck, and suddenly a strong breath of death enveloped him. At that moment, all the hairs on his body stood on end, as if thrown into an ice cellar. At this time, it was too late for him to dodge. The divine light flowed in front of his chest, and 7 natal meridians appeared in front of his chest, forming a shield to block Long Chen's blow. Puff! Long Chen slapped out, blood splashed, Xiangtu's shield exploded, and a big hole was pierced through Long Chen's palm on his thick chest. With a loud noise, Long Chen and Xiangtu flew upside down at the same time. This move exchanged injuries for injuries and life for lives, and shocked countless monster powerhouses. Only then did they realize that Long Chen's Dragon Bone Zayu's move was actually intentional. His goal was to use the power of Dragon Bone Shiyue to remove the power of the ivory bone gun. The force after it was removed was just within the range of his physical body, and the direction of the spear did not change. Recalling the action just now, Long Chen seemed to have deliberately greeted the spear with his chest, but at that time, his left hand was behind his back. At that time, people didn't notice this detail. Thinking about it now, all of this was in Long Chen's calculations. Long Chen deliberately used this method to get close to Xiang Tu and give him a fatal blow. The thing that made the heads of the Yaozu powerhouses feel numb was that Long Chen had figured out that Xiang Tu didn't want to kill him directly, but wanted to torture him. It was precisely because Xiang Tu wanted to keep a life alive that he grabbed his neck. It was such a movement that Long Chen seized the best opportunity to make a move. Long Chen was gambling with his life, and he won the bet. What frightened the strong monsters most was that Long Chen's eyes were cold from beginning to end. That kind of calm made people feel chilling. Poof! Xiang Tu was hit hard. He pointed at Long Chen, and just about to say something, suddenly a mouthful of blood spewed out wildly. In the fresh blood he spewed, there was a stench. At the same time, he was shocked to find that the endless black lightning on the wound on his chest was crazily corroding his body. Even the power of destiny could not resist this horror. The power of call. Suddenly, countless powerful members of the mammoth golem family saw that the situation was not good, and at the same time formed seals with both hands, and the demonic energy rose, covering the elephant. Countless strong men of the mammoth clan, black lightning appeared all over their bodies at the same time, and they actually used their collective strength to help Xiang to share the terrifying power. Millions of powerful members of the mammoth golem family shared the burden at the same time, and everyone's face was filled with blackness, as if they had been poisoned. However, with the sharing of so many people, the power of Long Chen's vines could no longer be fatal. But even though there were so many people sharing it, Xiang Tu still felt extremely uncomfortable, and his body couldn't recover for a while. Die, stupid human race. Suddenly the void trembled, and golden wings covered the sky. The strong members of the golden-winged rock clan saw the advantages and launched an attack directly. Even if I, Long Chen, fall into Pingyang, I will not die in the hands of trash like you. Looking at the golden-winged rock, Long Chen was seriously injured at this time and was powerless to resist. He suddenly closed one eye and prepared to fight back. Use the Eye of Purgatory. This was his last resort. He only wanted to kill this guy with one blow, but even if he was killed, it would be of no avail. There were too many people in the Sky Demon Alliance, but at this moment he could only wait and see. Who dares to bully me, Brother Long? At this moment, there was a terrifying roar, like the roar of an ancient barbarian god, followed by a pair of big golden hands, protruding from the void, and grabbed the golden-winged rock. The golden-winged rock has a wingspan of thousands of miles, but in front of that giant hand, it is like a chicken. Laugh. Before the golden-winged rock struggled wildly, but couldn't break free at all. Those big hands pulled hard, blood splashed, and the golden-winged rock was forcibly torn into two pieces. Chapter 5646 The Golden-Winged Rock. The top powerhouse in the Sky Demon Alliance couldn't even withstand the tearing from that big golden hand. Boom! Suddenly a huge head protruded from the void, its mouth opened, and under the horrified eyes of countless people, the golden-winged rock was stuffed into the mouth. Baha! Amidst the splash of blood, people finally saw the figure standing upright. Aman. The man was huge in size, full of chi and blood, his whole body shone with golden divine brilliance, and his wild lines flowed like golden dragons swimming. He was like an ancient giant god descending into the world, but his aura was still so familiar. Seeing Man's appearance, Long Chen's nose was sour. This silly boy has become so strong. Brother Long. Man appeared, and when he saw that Long Chen was covered in blood, and a big hole had been pierced through his chest, at that moment, he roared like a beast. You all die. Man let out an angry roar, raised his big foot, and kicked towards the monsters in front of him. Boom! Under Man's footsteps, the ground exploded, and golden waves of air gushed out, roaring in all directions like raging sea waves. Puff puff! Countless monster clan powerhouses were directly crushed by the golden air wave. After the air wave passed, an unknown number of monster clan powerhouses were killed. Damn barbarian, go to hell. The blood is burning, and the demon ancestor is coming. When a man appeared, Ho Tianwu, who was fully rested, let out a roar, and all the roads behind him burst open, and a huge figure emerged. It was a big golden monster. Its whole body shone with golden light, and its body size was comparable to that of a man. As soon as it appeared, Ho Tianwu's golden long stick appeared in its hand. At this time, the golden long stick became bigger again, just like when it was hit by Long Chen with all its strength. The big demon was the heroic spirit Ho Tianwu summoned. He had used this trick before when he fought Long Chen, but because of too much consumption before, the summoning failed, but this time, he succeeded. The big monster appeared, with a demonic aura soaring to the sky, filled with prehistoric power, holding a long golden stick in his hand, and smashed at a man with a stick. At this time, a man, because of Long Chen's injury, became crazy and rushed forward, but the big monster smashed a man's head hard with a stick. Aman. Long Chen's face turned pale with fright. Can this silly boy not see the guy in front of him? He didn't dodge, or block, and even lowered his head and kicked those strong monsters who were running away in chaos. Boom! The long golden stick slammed heavily on a man's head, and there was a roar and explosion. A man's huge body shook suddenly, the ground under his feet exploded, and his knees sank deeply into the ground. After this devastating blow, a large lump was visible to the naked eye on a man's head. A man felt the pain and put his head in his hands. Only then did he notice that there was a huge heroic spirit standing in front of him. And the heroic spirit who was summoned seemed to have a certain consciousness of his own. After the blow, he looked at a man stupidly, as if he couldn't believe his eyes. Go to hell! A man touched the big blood bag on his forehead, suddenly roared, and a bone stick appeared in his hand. The bone stick seemed to be the leg bone of a ferocious beast. One side was thinner and the other was thicker, and the whole body was covered with golden runes. As soon as it appeared, thousands of waves roared, the universe changed color, and the terrifying coercion radiated to the 9 heavens. A man held a bone stick and slammed it fiercely at the heroic spirit. The heroic spirit held a golden long stick and seemed to be chanting a spell. His whole body was filled with golden light, and the long stick was slanted horizontally, hard to block the blow. Boom! However, a man smashed the stick, the heroic spirit burst into pieces, the golden long stick was blown away, and Ho Tianwu in the distance spurted out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were full of astonishment. This ancestral heroic spirit is one of his strongest tricks. Although the continuous injuries have reduced the power of the offering, the power of the heroic spirit has been limited to a certain extent. But this heroic spirit is the ancestor of the Sky Demon Golden Monkey clan, and its strength is astonishing. He summoned it at this time to give himself a prestige, and to tell Shui Yingfeng and Xiang Tu who is the real commander of the monster clan. However, he never expected that his heroic spirit would be blown away by a man's stick, and he himself also suffered a certain backlash, and his aura instantly languished. A man killed the heroic spirit, and saw Ho Tianwu at a glance. He held a bone stick and smashed it down at Ho Tianwu. At this moment, a tortoise shell shield appeared, and the strong man of the tortoise clan appeared again at this time. Puff! As a result, after a man hit the stick, the strong man of the tortoise clan, even the tortoise shell and the leader, were smashed into powder in an instant. Although the strong defensive power of the tortoise family is amazing, and there is an ancestor tortoise shell to protect the body, let alone the tortoise shell has been partially destroyed by Long Chen's dragon claws, resulting in a great reduction in defense. I can't afford a man's stick. It was you who hurt me, Brother Long. You are all bad guys. Go to hell. A man killed the strong man of the turtle clan with a stick, but he was slowed down by his resistance. His eyes swept across Ho Tianwu, Shui Yingfeng and Xiang Tu, and he saw that these 3 were the strongest. And the breath is fluctuating. It should be that he has just experienced a war. A man didn't give them a chance to explain. The golden bone rod swept across, covering a space of tens of thousands of miles, and the violent power of blood enveloped all 3 of them. Golden Monkey controls the sky, Blood Crystal Shield, Magic Elephant lifting the sky, Ho Tianwu, Shui Yingfeng, and Xiangtu were startled and angry. Why did a terrifying savage come out suddenly, seeing that this attack hit the three of them at the same time, and counterattacked at the same time? Boom, there was a loud bang, but the supernatural powers of the three were exploded by Man's stick, and the three of them flew far away like gourds rolling on the ground, spurting blood one by one, in a state of embarrassment. The three were furious and aggrieved again. They were all injured before, but now they met Man in his prime, and the three of them worked together and suffered a great loss. Damn barbarian, you are too bullying. If you were not injured before, you would be killed today. Ho Tianwu yelled, but when the words fell, the person had already appeared tens of thousands of miles away, and this guy was the first to escape. Xiangtu and Shui Yingfeng saw that the situation was not going well, so they also ran away. This man is too strong. If it is in its heyday, it can still fight. If you don't run away now, I am afraid that you will really stay here forever. A group of unplanted goods, so many of you, have you ever complained to Brother Longchen? Seeing Ho Tianwu swearing, Xiaoye yelled loudly, complaining about Longchen's injustice. Countless strong men of the monster clan fled in all directions, but they heard Xiaoye's words clearly. It was only then that they remembered that Longchen had fought against Ho Tianwu, Shui Yingfeng and Xiangtu successively, and even had interference from the strong men of the Turtle Clan and the Golden-Winged Pern Clan. Longchen had never complained about unfairness. Some of the strong monsters looked back to the distance, and looked at the blood-covered dragon with a blood hole on his chest, but his face was still indifferent. The eyes that look down on the world and look down on the crowd are soul-stirring. Trembling. You still want to escape? Come back to me. Seeing this group of people running away, Man became anxious and wanted to chase after them, but the three fled in three directions, and he didn't know who to chase for a moment. Man, don't chase them, let Brother Long take a good look at you. Longchen suppressed his excitement, but after speaking, Longchen's voice choked up. Chapter 5647, Brother Long. Man put away his giant body and turned into a normal body. To Longchen's surprise, Man's body was much smaller than before, and now he was only 2 ends taller than Longchen. When Man came to Longchen and saw Longchen's familiar appearance, Man suddenly hugged Longchen and burst into tears, like a wandering child who finally saw his relatives. At this time, Man no longer had the ferocity he had before, and what he showed was just a simple and honest child. Good brother, don't cry, we should be happy when we meet. Longchen patted Man's thick shoulder, feeling Man's familiar breath. Longchen told him not to cry, but he had already burst into tears. Man had a mysterious origin, was lonely since he was a child, suffered humiliation, and endured hunger until he met Longchen. Longchen always treated him like his own brother, and even made him call his mother. The last time Longchen met Man in a hurry, although he knew that Man was well, but he knew that Man's wisdom was limited, and he was always worried that he would be used by others and would suffer a lot. Now that they met again, a stone in Longchen's heart finally landed. At this time, the strong men of the Sky Demon Alliance had already escaped completely, and there were no more enemies in the audience. The barrier was still standing there, but Tang Weiner and the soldiers of the Yinlong Legion came over. Seeing Man, Tang Weiner couldn't help but burst into tears. Everyone in the Dragon Blood Legion treated Man like a younger brother. Now that they met here, Tang Weiner was too excited to say a word. The Yinlong warriors didn't know who Man was, but they saw him tearing up the golden-winged rock, blasting the powerful men of the Tortoise family, and defeating the 3 peerless powerhouses with one blow. They were all in awe of him. However, seeing him crying like a child at this time, he couldn't help being stunned for a moment. Is he really the ferocious giant just now? Good brother, tell Brother Long, how did you find us? Longchen waited for Man to calm down a little before asking. Only then did Man restrain his crying, and told the story of how he came here. It turned out that when Man entered the Tianmai Profound Realm, he was accompanied by tens of thousands of strong men from the Blood Barbarian clan. But Man disliked them for being too slow, and ran away regardless of the dissuasion of these people. After running wildly for 3 days, he finally remembered that he didn't know where Brother Long was. How should he find him? Then he ran back again, trying to find the team, but his so-called running back was not the original path at all, and he had long since lost the distinction between east, west, and north. Ran around for 3 days and then waited in place, but the left and right people didn't come. Man suddenly became anxious, thinking that before entering, so many people were not good for Brother Long, he had to hurry find Brother Long. Then he started running around again, and whenever he encountered a creature he asked, "Have you seen my Brother Long?" The other party was puzzled by the question, and some creatures, seeing Man alone and foolishly, directly killed him. If the human race attacked him, Man would run away. He knew that Long Chen was a human race, so he would not kill the human race easily. But if the person who made the attack was a foreign race such as Yaozu, Mozu, etc., Man would not be polite, and would directly beat him to death with a stick, swallowing hard. After they were full, they started to run wildly, and when they were hungry, they attacked the ferocious beasts in the Tianmeixiuan territory. There are a lot of ferocious beasts in the Tianmai Profound Realm, and most of the ferocious beasts want to protect their own territory. Once someone approaches, they will actively release their aura to intimidate them, which is very easy to find. So once a man was hungry, he would strike at the target when he saw it. He also couldn't tell the strength of the beast. As for the treasures guarded by those ferocious beasts, he didn't know them, and left when he was full. In this way, Man crossed the Tianmai Profound Realm several times, but he still couldn't find Long Chen, and cried out in anxiety several times. Once, Man was sitting on a big mountain crying loudly, and saw a strange person. There was a huge dice in the vision behind that person. Hu Feng. When he heard this, Long Chen shouted excitedly, "That's right, that's Hu Feng. Unfortunately, I was too stupid to remember his name." Man slapped his thigh. "It's really Hu Feng?" Long Chen's heart beat wildly. "Maybe I'm not sure." Seeing what Long Chen said, Man hesitated again. Long Chen was speechless for a while. Man's strength became more and more terrifying, but his IQ was not good at all. Hu Feng clearly knew him, so why couldn't he be sure? After Long Chen continued to inquire, he found out. The person carrying the dice turned out to be a young man who looked only 16 or 17 years old. Man didn't remember Hu Feng's appearance, but he remembered the dice on his back. When he saw that boy, he habitually opened his mouth and said, "Have you seen me, Brother Long?" The young man was stunned for a moment, looked at Man carefully and asked, "Do we know each other?" Man said that they should know each other, and then asked again, "Have you seen my Brother Long?" The young man asked who Long Gu was. Man said, "You know him too?" The boy was speechless immediately, and asked Man a few words, but Man's words did not have any logic. The boy was dizzy and did not understand what Man wanted to express. In the end, he used the dice on his back as if using divination, and then pointed to a direction, telling Man to run in this direction. "Don't make a turn, maybe you can get what you want." After Man heard it, without saying a word, he ran along the road pointed by the boy, not daring to stop. After running for a day, he sensed Long Chen's aura. To Man, this aura was as dazzling as the rising sun. He directly killed him and saved Long Chen at a critical moment. "Long Chen, do you think that person is Hu Feng?" In Tang Weiner's eyes, there was an expression of disbelief. Everyone saw Hu Feng's fall in the Tianwu continent's world annihilation battle. The fall of Hu Feng, Ling Yunzi, Chu Jianying, the old man, Li Tianxian and others has always been a pain in everyone's heart. When they heard the boy in Man's mouth, Long Chen and Tang Weiner couldn't help their hearts beating wildly. The gambling Dao has always been a mysterious inheritance. Even though I searched through the ancient books of the fairy world, I didn't find much valuable news about this lineage. It doesn't matter if it's right or not, I believe it won't take long, this puzzle will be solved, cough cough. Suddenly Long Chen coughed, and the wound on his chest trembled violently. "Brother Long." Seeing that Long Chen was injured, Man was startled and angry, wishing he could capture those animals and beat them to death right now. "I'm fine, you'll be fine after a while." Long Chen hurriedly comforted Ah Man. The veins on this guy's forehead were throbbing violently, which was very scary. At this moment, the Wanlong nest trembled slightly, countless runes lit up on the Wanlong nest, and a vast torrent gushed out from the space channel behind the Wanlong nest. The power of Emperor Dao Nilin has begun to be released. When seeing this scene, Long Chen's heart beat wildly. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.